All right, everybody, welcome in. We are live. It's an NBA Friday night here on the REMINGTOM pod. One of the final two nights of the NBA regular season, and I guess we'll be live for both of them. AL will be back, of course, Sunday as well, too. So, follow along as we get ready for the playoffs, the play-in tournament awards season. We are headed toward the real competitive stretch, of course, of the NBA calendar, but just, I guess, in the sports calendar in general, if we, move big picture, we go from March Madness to the Masters as well. We have a little Masters on in the background. I don't know, Chad, we might be growing up over here. It is what it is. We decided we were going to watch a Denzel movie earlier today. We went with Fences instead of Man on Fire, and now we've got the Masters on instead of a second NBA game. Hey, yo. I don't know if we're maturing or, if we're washed. I don't know what you call it, but it is what it is. Our guy McElroy was in the lead, and since the time that we've sat on the couch, he's managed to, I guess Reed made up a stroke, and McElroy dropped one, -1, +1, since we've been on the couch. So they're both sitting at +6. McElroy was, +6, -6. McElroy was at 7 under. And I guess there was a cluster of guys at 5 under. But Patrick Reed, I'm guessing, has moved up into the tie with first place there for our guy McElroy. So shout out. We're definitely pro McElroy on this pod here. It is what it is. And he has definitely been one of those beloved guys that has had, do we say a tumultuous? I don't know if it's a tumultuous history with the majors in general or just the Masters, but I want to say that he has, gotten a win there as well too recently. Major championship wins. I guess the reigning champion, won last year against Justin Rose, I guess against the field, but I guess it had been a while as well too since he was able to win one. Yeah, these are all his wins here, so I guess I'm thinking the place again. I guess that's 2014 to 2025. I guess is the tumultuous history of the majors that we're talking about. Is this the scorecards here for all the various ones? So 15 at the Masters, 4th, 10th, 7th, 5th, 21st, 5th, cut, 2nd, cut, 22nd, and then bounce back first. I mean, the yellow obviously highlighting the top 10 wins. You see the U.S. Open. 2016 to 2024 finished in the top 10 every year there, so clearly, obviously consistently one of the best, but hadn't actually collected a win for a decade. It had been a decade since McElroy had won a major. Is pretty crazy. So shout out. Obviously, goes into sort of and not even just to win that one specific major, because that is the thing about golf and tennis compared to. Maybe I'm missing a sport in there with that as well too, but those sports compared, of course, to football and basketball is the weight of the different trophies. I guess basketball does have it a little bit now with the Commissioner's Cup. Is the Commissioner's Cup like the PGA Championship and the finals is like the Masters? It still is a little bit different. But, it can go to a guy's legacy a little bit, if he wasn't able to necessarily be as prolific on one course or, a tennis one court as another. Again, if you have to really narrow down the final factors of, debating the greatest golfers of all time, I'm sure. Obviously we're not in a lot of golf debating the, greatest golfer of all time conversations, but I'm assuming that has to be a factor. Unlike tennis, all the golf courses are the same. It's not like they have a clay golf course and then a grass golf course and they play one on pavement or something like that. So there, it's more the weather, the mentalness of the course, whether or not, it's I guess wide fairways. I guess we know nothing about golf. It is what it is. We need to get into golf course design. But that sounds like a DeVry University degree we could go out there and get right now. Golf course design. Though that might be a little higher up there. Does anybody offer golf course design degree? Let's see what we can get here. Can we get our MBA? We're going for our Masters. There is no specific undergraduate in golf course design in the U.S. Instead, becoming a golf course architect typically requires a bachelor in landscaping architecture. They have a more technical term for it. Is there a sub? Is there like a week? There has to be a week or two, or maybe a semester. Is there a semester in landscape architecture where you take golf course design as part of that? I don't know. Specialization certification, the EIGCA, vocational qualification. Oh, in golf course design. A 2-year, partially virtual vocational course providing professional qualification in the field. So a 2-year degree? You only need to go to school for 2 years to get qualified in golf course design? Hey, yo. Essential skills, site analysis, CAD design, earth modeling, drainage, whoa, hey, ew. Environmental regulations and turf management as well too. Do you have to do like a lawnmower test or something like that as well too? How straight can you mow like a course? Do you mow it? They'll judge. Do you mow it in crisscross type of pattern, or is it just straight horizontal, or does it have like that kind of grid shape as well too? I don't know. How to become a golf course architecture nerd. No, we want to become a businessman, not just a nerd. Hey, yo, we want to apply our knowledge. Oh, look at this. We have layouts already. Master plans, blueprints. We can see. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you put pause a mound here, a mound there. Plant some flowers around the edges, chat. Maybe every 4th hole, throw in a sand trap somewhere. And then just kind of mix up how you rotate the greens. I mean, you just don't be too redundant. It is what it is. We're still talking about golf course design here, but I think, there are certain things that could be applied to, various skill sets in life. But regardless, either way, it does seem like this is actually an attainable life goal. So I guess if you see us cooking up some golf course designs in the background, it is what it is. Oh, is this a whole course, or is this one hole? Pause. This has got to be a course. Hey, yo, is this mini golf, or is this a really crazy aerial view? Shout out. Beautiful course. It is what it is. I guess we don't know where it's located here. What city is this in? The Patch? Master plan features a redesigned 18-hole golf course layout. Okay, shout out to whoever cooked up the Patch, I guess. Did they have their vocational qualification? Hey, yo, the EVQGCD. I guess we can get our degree hanging up right over the Black Panther and the Dark Knight soundtrack vinyls, and then hey, yo, it is what it is. Golf course design in Hans Zimmer vinyl would definitely pair nicely together. But I guess would we design a course that, I guess would McElroy be favorable for McElroy? I don't know. But either way, 6-6. And, we're very happy that he got the one Masters. McElroy's career, where he all of a sudden is just prolific in closing out tournaments or closing out the Masters. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, again, Patrick Reed, Jason Day, Justin Rose back in the mix as well too, and then Ryton is number 5, so maybe a new name for us anyways for this year's tournament. But it's got to be day 2 for the Masters. I'm assuming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is that how it goes? So I think, and I don't even know. Is this live? This can't even be live because Augusta is ahead of us in time zone, and it's nighttime here. So unless my eyes deceive me, Chad, unless I don't know what's going on, I guess, do we see? Oh, spoiler alert! Hey, yo, is that 2 days? I was gonna say, does McElroy go on a tear here? Maybe he does. I guess we can check and see what hole he's on. Whoa, hey, yo, we can check and see where he's at on the course. McElroy birdies final 4 holes of round 2. Whoa, spoiler alert, chat. Hey, yo, did we doubt our guy McElroy 2 seconds ago? I don't know. IT might have to go back and cut that out. I guess this is going to be crazy stuff if he drops this one. What's the craziest lead that anybody has ever given up in the Masters? I mean, it depends, I guess, on the point in the Masters as well too. There is a Oh, I guess I was gonna give him. I was gonna say the name as the guy that, collapsed. I was gonna say I think the year that Danny Willett won, there was a sort of iconic collapse in that Masters. I don't know if we need to call people out. I don't know exactly, how much he was, how much he was up by in that Masters specifically. But I guess we can just look in general, like what would be the largest anybody has ever made up a deficit in general. 8 strokes. Whoa, hey, yo, again, we just, we talk golf for a mature audience today. It is what it is. But largest final round comeback in Masters history is 8 strokes achieved by Jack Burke. Whoa, hey, yo, chat, this isn't getting better. In 1956, trailing amateur Ken Venturi by 8 shots heading into Sunday, Burke Jr. carded 71, while Venturi struggled with an 80, allowing Burke to win by 1. So it was a good day for Burke for sure. But I mean, again, more iconically, Ventura, struggling. I guess, yeah, you could, if McIlroy, was even, and then Patrick Reed just was like 7 under, or, 3, 4, I guess, however you want to divide it up over the next 2 days. But other notable margins in the Masters include 7 shots Gary Player in 1978, Nick Faldo 6 in 1996, Fuzzy Zoeller in 1979, and Art Wall Jr. in 1959. Art Wall Jr., grandfather for John Wall, I guess. Well, John Wall, is it Art John Wall Jr. the third? I don't know what, you gotta look up his full name, but I guess either way. Nick Faldo, though, shout out, obviously, iconic TV guy as well, too. 96, the most recent of any of these guys to be able to make this up, I guess, because again, the 8 deficit one was in 56 as well, too. So we are entering historic territory, and I guess I don't know if these are all final round as well too, so that is probably going to be a little bit easier to track on the scorecard anyways. Just looking to see, and the most dramatic as well too, looking to see who made that up there. Yeah, I guess Jack Burke in the final round. It did say that. Yeah, final round. So I'm assuming all of that is Saturday going into Sunday. But I guess, again, McIlroy could obviously continue to grow the lead as well too. He could be 7 or 8 going into Sunday. So this could be the number 1. We're either headed for the number, again, not to doubt our guy. We only joke because we don't. I mean, we can't say we don't doubt our guy because we literally just, we did it on camera, pause, live. But I guess, again, if you have a decade where it's like, there's consistent top 10 finishes for a reason, is it our fault? I think it is. I think it is for not believing. But quad bogey 9 ends couple stay among leader. Oh, that might be in a different tournament. I don't know what's going there. Lives DeChambeau misses the cut. He missed a putt earlier as well too, and his shoulders were. It's like, okay. I mean, does he need to stop lifting weights? Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a guy like so tense in a putt. I was like, he's gonna. I guess we might have to pause that as well too. Hey, yo. But either way, we've never seen just if it was like if Dwight Howard was putting. I don't know. I feel like NBA fans that could understand that would understand that. But either way, shout out to DeChambeau. Again, obviously every player has their course. So I don't know if Bryson DeChambeau is a big golf. Is he a big golfer? Or is he a big Masters guy? I guess we'll see. He's been used to playing these live tournament courses. He can't go over and play these U.S. courses anymore. But yeah, his only 2 wins are at the U.S. Open. 1 win, one shot over McIlroy. Hey, yo, 3-shot lead. I guess I don't know what that means there, but I guess he had a 3-shot lead at one point. But is that going into the final? Oh, 54 holes. Yeah, so going into the final round, I guess 3-shot lead, and then was almost gave that up to McIlroy in the last round. But in the Masters, oh yeah, I guess typically a little bit struggling in the Masters. Been cut in 3 of the, hit or miss. Cut 3 of the last 5 years, but then has made the top 10 6 and 5 in 24 and 25. So he's been either top 6 or not in the tournament at all. Is basically how it's gone. And I was about to get excited again and be like, "Oh, McIlroy has started." But I was like, "Oh yeah, wait a second. We already know where this goes." But I mean, that now we know to lock in. Now we know to lock in because we have a historic. Well, again, we don't know historic, but at least a fun heat check by Rory. Hey yo. So does golf need a new? Well, it doesn't need a new star. McIlroy not a new star. But again, I guess with him being that veteran guy, he does have a chance to move into a, I guess leader in the clubhouse kind of a way. Because again, he was just like that beloved and maybe now if he starts winning and kicking everybody's butt in everybody's tournament, then I don't know if he becomes beloved, but so you just start. He starts giving up tournament wins for a decade. It's like, hey, everybody loves Rory McIlroy. But it seemed like he was one of those guys. Everybody was cheering for him. Everybody, they loved to see him finally get the Masters win. Respect the game. And now again with the span of his career as well too. Winning tournaments and winning majors for in multiple decades now technically as well too. Again, he's got that veteran status. That basically like. I think we can say all-time great. Again, not knowing much about golf. I'm not sitting here saying he's, and again, I don't want to be now the other way disrespectful to him. I'm not saying he's like one of the 15 best golfers of all time, but again, obviously if you say, I mean, again, I feel like we use Carmelo Anthony for a lot of examples here. Hey, yo. But shout out. We like shouting out Carmelo Anthony. You can say Carmelo Anthony is one of the great all-time players. Anthony Davis, one of the great all-time players. LaMelo Ball, one of the greats. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that he's one of the, the like 10 best players of all time. Like, whoa, like if we just really rank the list, like where is it going to end up? Again, there's a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. The NBA, they got an all 75 anniversary team, and that's still like a very small percentage of the guys that I've ever played. Like Rory McIlroy would be on the 7. I guess golf, maybe it's been around longer than 75 years. I don't know. But does when did it devolve from cricket as its own sport? I'm not sure. We have to look the timeline there. But Rory McIlroy would probably be, I imagine, on the 75 for 75, or even if they did a 70 best 75 golfers of the last 75 years, because that would put it then in an equal timeline with the NBA. Like he would have to be on that list. So I imagine that now this is at least this could be a cool time for him to be that again that veteran guy in the game, won the past, but now he's winning now. So now he's dominant, like actually like winning again, and can maybe be, do we say the face of golf right now? I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about the leaderboards outside of this. So what is going on in the other tournaments? I guess rankings. We can see a world ranking here and see what happens. But there's I can't think of like a, and I guess some of the guys now have been around for a while, like DeChambeau, again, only 2 tournament wins, but it seems like he's been in the golfing conscience for a while now. DAP tournament, web.com tour. Okay, so that's not necessarily what are we saying? PGA. Oh, PGA. So 2018, I guess, kind of right after that. So a little bit in the next class, obviously, behind McIlroy. But yeah, he's second right now. Oh, Scheffler is, I guess, in average points, way up, and I guess total points as well too. 604 in 40 events. So Scotty Scheffler is just like the most dominant player in golf right now, I guess. But again, I don't know if Scotty Scheffler is as famous as McIlroy. I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say that McIlroy is a little bit more notable than some of the other guys. Again, I don't think there's obviously the major star in golf, the same way that there has been in the past, where, just there still is, some popularity with the, longevity of the career that McIlroy is putting together at this point. And again, he is second right now as well, too. So he does have the that case on the leaderboard, the actual case in the class to be the best, but also, like we're saying, sort of the number one jersey sales guy as well too. Patrick Reed, DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood fourth. Right now, I guess we're just kind of we're not reading in order. We're just kind of randomly picking names from the list that I guess jump out. I don't know, but Adam Scott, like, again, I don't necessarily know who the next, and I guess the golf community is probably always looking for it. But did I say Alcaraz earlier? Like, I don't know who the next or if there's like an Alcaraz in golf right now, or if Scheffler is, is he the Carlos Alcaraz of golf? I'm not sure. Maybe is that Cameron Young? We'll have to see. I guess 28 Wake Forest, kind of Players Championship. The Players Club? Ayo, is he in the Players Club? We were just watching it on Tubi. I don't remember seeing him in that. But Arnold Palmer Invitational, tied for third. 7th at the Genesis Invitational. 55th at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. You got to do better than 50. Was it his amateur that was keeping it down? It wasn't worth it, Chad. It is what it is. It was a pause. It was a stutter. It's all that. But were we watching that as well, too? What's that movie? Oh, She's All That. I think that's the movie. Which is the one with Nick Cannon in it versus the other guy? I guess I don't know the other movie. But, hey, yo, shout out. We've been watching. Oh, yeah, so She's All That is the other movie. What is, I just, the Nick Cannon. Did we just look up Nick Cannon, She's All That? I guess it is what it is. But that is the movie that I am thinking of. She's All That. Hey, yo. Maybe it's just called that as well, too. Join that. Hey, yo, chat. I guess we have to go to the DVD collection, go to the streamers. I don't know. We might have to poke around on Tubi. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. We should definitely know the name of it. But we're blanking. I guess, hey, yo, we could just go to Nick Cannon's filmography as well, too. Nick Cannon, call in and tell us the name of this movie. Hey, yo, we cannot remember what it is called. So let's see what we got here. Love Don't Cost a Thing. Hey, yo, chat. Cancel me now. IT, let's take it from the top. Hey, yo, okay, 3, 2, 1. So that movie we all love. Love Don't Cost a Thing. Hey, yo, imagine, chat. Drumline. Men in Black 2. Oh, I guess, Autopsy Agent, Men in Black 2. And then Drumline and Love Don't Cost a Thing back to back. Hey, yo. I mean, he had the whole world in front of him, chat. I know. What is Chalamet's last 2 movies? Dune and Marty Supreme? I mean, we'd Drumline and Love Don't Cost a Thing against anything that... Any 2-movie run that Chalamet has had. It is what it is. Maybe Dune 2 is long enough... Pause. To... Timothée? How does he spell his name? Yeah, there we go. Hopefully... Luckily, he's famous enough. We don't, have to spell it too long. It is what it is. But both a flex and not a diss, I guess, at the same time. But what are we seeing here? Interstellar 1 and 2. Yeah, I don't know. Call Me By Your Name and Hot Summer Nights, underrated. And Lady Bird, 3 in a row. And Hostiles. Is that yeah, that's like supposed to be the Crazy Violet one. Hey, yo, we've never seen this because it is supposed to be crazy violent. But I don't know. Rosemont Pike, it might... And Christian Bale, the case might be there. Oh, Stephen Lang, chat, talk us into it. It is what it is. But 2017, obviously a hot year for Chalamet. Is 2017 still Chalamet's best year? Hot take. I mean, again, Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird in the same year. Hot Summer Nights, I think, is a sleeper. And Hostiles, again, I think it's, supposed to be a quality movie, right? So at least that's 4 for 4 there. But not better than Drumline and Love Don't Cost a Thing. It does not matter. The French Dispatch, Dune, is pretty strong, for sure. Is he got, like, a major role in the... Wait, oh, here we go. The French Dispatch. Is that one of those Wes Anderson joints? Yeah, because there's a ton of people in this. So where is he at in the poster? Is this him right here? Hey, yo. That looks a little Chalamet-esque. I think that is pretty main character-esque as well, too. Are the main characters... colorized here, Or I guess that looks kind of like Adrian Brody, though. So I don't know if, Adrian Brody, I'm assuming, would be a main character as well. But I guess I don't remember him, like, being a part of the conversation of that movie. But I could be wrong. But either way, he is in that. Don't Look Up is underrated. Is that still on Netflix? Maybe we throw that on again. Jennifer Lawrence joint, DiCaprio. Hey, yo. But Wonka, he did Wonka and Dune Part 2. Back to back. And then a complete unknown, chat. Hey, yo, a complete unknown. What's going to happen to the movie? Hey, it is what it is. And then Bones and All. Is this Bones Part 2, the Snoop Dogg movie, or not? Oh, no, this is a different movie. But if Chalamet did do Bones 2, I don't know if Chalamet is the one that's supposed to do Bones 2, but if somebody did do Bones 2 and it was Chalamet, shout out. I guess we're just watching Bones 2. Snoop Dogg. I guess Snoop Dogg can still do Bones 2. Do we need to double check and make sure there isn't a Bones 2? There might be. Let's see what we got here. Bones 2, 2020. Oh, Bone Temple. No, would Snoop Dogg be in it? No, it wouldn't be Snoop Dogg. It would be The Game or something like that. But either way, what are we looking at here? So yeah, I guess we're right, chat. We are right that 2017 is probably the best, run of movies that he's had. But none of it's better than Drumline and Love Don't Cost a Thing. I mean, shout out Lady Bird. Lady Bird's great. Hot Summer Nights, Call Me By Your Name. But are you watching those as much as Drumline? Or like we're saying, Love Don't, the watch time is going to be higher. Interstellar, Worst Friends 1 and 2, The Adderall Diaries. Like, I guess we don't know the other that as for the acting, the what are we saying, like the 20s acting careers, like the young adult, there we go, the young adult acting careers. Nick Cannon over Chalamet. I guess we'll have to if Chalamet does get an Oscar, if Dune 3 is pretty strong, then I guess we might have to reconsider the power rankings. But hey, yo, just a couple of classic movies, I guess, to go back and potentially revisit. But yeah, either way, the Masters as well too. Shout out to McElroy. We'll keep an eye on there, but it's getting us distracted from this Hornets Pistons game that just ended, and the Pistons were kind of taking care a little bit of business in the fourth quarter there, so there is, I guess, a little bit of a reason why maybe our attention dropped. The score did pull away. They did end up winning by 18. 10 fourth quarter points for Charlotte. Oh, no, chat. You hate to see it. The LaMelo Ball-led team, he was cooking. He had 25, I think, through 3. Finished the game with 27. So, again, did not necessarily, down the stretch. In a game that they were close, it was 90 to 93. It was not more than 4. And they may have had cut it to 3. So it was somewhere in the range of 3 to 4 points going into the fourth quarter. And the Pistons as well, too, as you see, on the verge of being a 60-win team. They had Cade Cunningham back tonight as well, too. I don't know if he started or how many minutes he did end up playing in total. 28 minutes, in the starting lineup. 28 minutes for him there. I guess everybody kind of, shout out, getting good minutes in before the playoffs, getting a good look at the roster. Hey, yo, Sasser with 16 minutes. Javonte Green with 15. Karis LeVert with 15 minutes. Paul Reed getting 10 minutes as well, too. You love to see it. But, either way, again, it was close. The Pistons looking good. The Hornets, like we said, are maybe on the verge of being that sneaky team in the East. And it is unfortunate they've had a couple of opportunities here at the end of the year to at least test themselves against some of the better teams in the East. They had that Celtics matchup against, them recently. And, again, the Celtics have been playing with Tatum recently, so you have been seeing them at quote-unquote full strength. I mean, Tatum is looking very, very, very similar to the best versions of Tatum that we have seen, but you still imagine that there is, a level up for him to go as well too. I mean, just for his box score to, consistently round out from that point standpoint. I mean, he's been 23, 24 a game recently. I know, again, what is he, 21 in the 16 that he's played, but 25, 23, 23, 23, 24, like, he is basically right back to, pretty close to those Jason Tatum box scores that we are used to seeing. So you do run into him, of course, like we're saying, you don't in some ways get the fortune of playing them without Tatum, and you don't, again, I guess, get the fortune of playing the Pistons with, out Cade as well too. That stuff does matter in playoff runs. Guys are going to get injured. It is going to affect matchups, and the team that is playing against the team that is injured is going to benefit from that. So I'm not, it's not necessarily wrong to consider it. But again, they have, on the flip side of that coin, they have had a chance to test themselves against these teams at full strength. And unfortunately, they have definitely looked like they're in a tier down. I mean, I guess, what are we saying, unfortunately? Because if we were, putting Charlotte in, I mean, we were. That's the problem. The problem is we were putting Charlotte in tier 1 of the East, and we may have jumped to conclusions just a little bit. That may be a little bit too much to ask for right now, but I think they could still be in tier 2, and I think that's the part that we need to still be looking on the optimistic side of, just because they haven't necessarily, proven that they, again, are like gonna win the East and be representing for the title at this point in the season. And, because we only have 2 nights left in the NBA, we have, a lot of games to choose from. Is it fortunate, unfortunate that we have the Masters? I guess we don't have a Prime account, so it doesn't really matter as well too for pulling up the second game. But the Thunder, fortunately, I guess Thunder Nuggets did make it easy to decide, though we might just want to see this one for the chaos. Oh, chat, the League Pass is promoting it as Jared McCain versus Tim Hardaway Jr. Shout out. Tim Hardaway Jr. representing, obviously, the Maize and Blue, the current national champions. When you say defending, it doesn't quite feel as current. Once you start going for it's like, okay, the title's a little, not necessarily vacant, but again, it's that question of who's going to have it next more so than who has it right now. It's like, no, the current champions, the Michigan Wolverines. Timothy Hardaway Jr., the fourth, Tim Hardaway Jr. representing the current champions of college basketball, the Michigan Wolverines, but also representing the team because their entire starting lineup is out, and the Thunder's entire starting lineup is out. Is that Topic dribbling around right there? Hey, yo, pause. Let's take a look. We might have to, again, we do get drawn to bad basketball. It is what it is. I don't know if it's still the remnants of playing. Yeah, Topic, number 44. You don't see a lot of guard 44s. Shout out. Kind of unique there. I don't know if, there's just not a lot of numbers left on OKC. I guess that's just where we're at tonight, chat. We've got a number 44 in the starting lineup for OKC, and we've got a number 45 in the starting lineup for Denver. Shout out to David Roddy, though. I mean, David Roddy, not a bad 11th man. Hey, yo, David Roddy might be amongst the best 11th man in the league. So the Denver Nuggets continue to have one of the, they continue to build out their depth. We love to see it. And, maybe a good home for him as well, too. Jokic having success there. They can kind of be welcoming to the dad bod all-stars, I guess we'll call it. Between Jokic, Valanciunas, and David Roddy, they might honestly be the dad bod all-pro team this year. Bruce Brown, Tyus Jones, shout out. I wouldn't say that their team is like known for being in the weight room, but obviously it's a good basketball team. Shout out. I don't know where they're ranking the fear rankings for this coming live stream for the Sunday show as we recap, or as we, I guess, look forward to the playoffs more so for that one. And as we, take a look at maybe some play-in stuff as well too. Hey, yo, riveting. But this Thunder lineup is looking pretty bleak right here now. Braden Carlson and Peyton Sanford and Brooks Barnhauser. I guess Brooks Barnhauser, people are like, oh, we love his effort. Hey, yo. But again, now we're legitimately into like 14th man, like we're calling G. These aren't even, we're not even labeled. There's not even numbers at this point. It's just, there's just G League guys in the game right now. Isaiah Joe's out. Cason Wallace is out. AJ Mitchell is out. Aaron Wiggins is leading the team. McCain, finally getting some run as the lead guy. We've been waiting for McCain to have his own franchise this whole time. It's game 81 for the 64-win Thunder against nobody for Denver. And I guess Denver is up by 10 right now. Valanciunas is cooking. Hey, yo. I guess they have no center. Hey. That is tough. Is Carlson their center option? Oh, no, chat. Carlson just getting cooked by Valanciunas tonight. A crafty veteran by, like, Valanciunas against, shout out Carlson. He's probably been battling his first season in the league. Valanciunas is just a master craftsman. Hey, yo, you love the footwork. He can get a trusty mid-range shot to go. That's for sure. So nothing surprising about the strong start there. Bruce Brown 2 for 4, Strother 3 for 6. Pickett 3 for 4 though is kind of a fun start. So I guess we can't necessarily watch too much of this game. Though Strother is on first team all, Rem and Sam. What do we say? You have stock in this guy? Hey, yo. We're pro Strother on this pod. I think that goes for Rem. Honestly, he might be one of the highest approval Rem and Sam joint rating guys in the league. Julian Strother. Hey, yo, LaMelo Ball and Julian Strother. If we're looking at the Venn diagram, though, of Rem and Sam favorite players, I think that Julian Strother is surprisingly one of the guys that is high up on the list right now. We do have Celtics Pelicans as a game that we know we can cross off as an option. Nets versus Bucks. Hey, yo, Doc Rivers, the final games for Doc Rivers of his Hall of Fame career. We'll have to see if maybe we give those minutes some respect. The Magic up by 20 against the Bulls. Okay, so I guess through a process of elimination, chat, we have to make sure we're doing our journalistic integrity. It is what it is. We just have to go with Spurs Mavericks as the game. Wemby versus Cooper Flag, it turns out, is the headline in the moment. So, we didn't want to say it off to start. We did our best to focus on the games, even though we got distracted by Pistons Hornets there. But, Spurs Mavericks is the way to go. 61-win San Antonio versus 25-win Dallas. Again, we tread lightly because, the way Cooper Flag is playing, they clearly have the pieces to be headed in the right direction. And 29 tonight on 20 field goal attempts, 11 for 20 from the field. And I saw him, Max Christie, 16 tonight as well too, 4 for 6. So he's on a little bit of a heater. Hey, yo, I don't know if this is me just being an adult. Hey, me growing up. Is this the pessimism setting in? I'm not sure, but guys used to have performances like this. Like Max Christie, 4 for 6. It's like he's a new player. He's going to beat 20 points a game every game now. I guess, we wouldn't necessarily be benefiting from that because he's a Mavericks player, but just as like a, hey, yo, welcome to the new tier of guys in the league, Max Christie. Like, it's just like, oh, this is just who he is now. But, hey, yo, as we become a mature adult, we're just like, he's just having a good game. It is what it is. 4 for 6. Somebody contain this man, but so is De'Aaron Fox as well too, and Wemby. Obviously, just a casual 30 and 10 and 3 in the third quarter. I guess they don't necessarily every time. It seems like anytime, guys just have a good season, it doesn't get awarded. You have to try to make up an award to recognize their year. So it's like, do we need to make up a new award? Do we need to make up an award that is just like who is the most entertaining player in the league? Versus who is the most valuable player in the league? But again, either way, Wemby obviously has made his case very strong for the MVP. And Shea is a very, very riveting player himself. The foul baiting has become a little bit of a storyline over the last couple of years, that's for sure. But oh, there we are. We're back. Okay. Hey, yo. It is what it is. I was like, did we just lose the mic? Did it just die? But no, I think we are good to go. But the minute we start, Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. One, let's see here. Are we good to go? Okay, chat. There we are. Hey, yo. I think we did end up losing the mic, so we might have to go to break real quick and get this sorted out. The shorting out is getting a little crazy there, so let's see if we can try to get this settled down, calm down. Hey, yo. The minute, like we said, it's good that it keeps us from being too biased, but make no mistake, we'll do anything it takes to talk about Wendy. So we'll be right back after we maybe rig this system up a little bit differently. Give us a second. Stay tuned. More basketball, more NBA Friday Night Hoops right after this. All right, let's see if we got this finally under control. Wait a second. Oh, see, the mute works, so that means we are hopefully cooking here. I mean, hey, yo, so are the Spurs as the third quarter winds down. Again, they have made this a 15-point game here in the third quarter. Yeah, 33-10 for Wemby, 18 for Fox, 11 for Harper, 5 for Vassell, 11 for Johnson as well too. So, I mean, shout out, strong performance to get us, of course, like we're saying, ready for the playoffs here. But again, if we were just talking, I guess, MVP a little bit for Shea versus Wemby, because it does seem like Shea is looking at the odds, the minus odds guy at this point. Of course, the Thunder are going to be the _1 team. And, you know, again, to San Antonio's credit, it's not a bad thing that, you know, again, for big picture, that, you know, the Spurs roster has been very, very good this year. And the OKC roster has maybe been a little bit more injured than it has been, you know, I'm not saying bad, but the work that Shea has done to lift that team has probably been a little bit more important, than, you know, than the work that Wemby has done. Not to say that again, and that's where the MVP argument, let's be honest, we all know it changes every year. It is what it is. You just look at it for the season that it is, and the different narratives to begin to develop. You know, is it biased towards certain players? Do we want certain guys to win it? You know, who's to say? But at the end of the day, the bar does move. The qualifications does move. I mean, the players' performances, again, in their own standards for production do shift over for the course of their careers as well too. But every year that does adjust for the MVP. So it just is what it is. There's going to be different arguments every year. But for Wemby, again, he may be able to when both Shea and Wemby are on the court. Like, Wemby may be able to be more impactful than Shea. But I think that Shea has been more impactful to OKC, and OKC is objectively a better team. You know, you could obviously, there's been years in the past where it's like, oh, this guy is more impactful for this 35-win team than this guy for this 50-win team. You know, I guess, you know, again, you can stretch that version of the argument to however you want to. But again, OKC's roster, OKC's record this year has, you know, to their credit, been better. I know that San Antonio does have the head-to-head record as well too. So again, matchup-wise, if we're talking about competing for the finals and different things like that, you know, those things obviously do matter. But the MVP award is a little bit of a different lane. Shea himself as well too, a 30-point per game performance. And do we need Wemby to be a little motivated in the playoffs? Hey, yo, it'll be like a Hakeem David Robinson, but maybe in our favor this time instead of, because if, I guess I didn't even think about that until right now. Now I'm just like, wait a second, hold the horse, like, hold your horse. We don't want Wemby winning the MVP now this year after thinking about that. Oh, Carter Bryant chat. Hey, yo, that was a confident and a very, very accurate three-pointer. You love to see it. And a very on-balance three-pointer. I don't know, his form there looked a little better. So he might be, you know, Carter Bryant might be a guy in the playoffs for us. I know that it's been, as a rookie, you know, a season-long process. Not a process, but, you know, just it's been that season of working him into the rotation over the course of it. And I think that he undeniably is just going to be a front court guy that they have to be utilizing there as well too. You know, finals against Tatum, Carter Bryant's going to have to guard Tatum in the finals. See, that does get a little worried. I guess we, you know, Castle on Tatum, Carter Bryant on Jaylen Brown, or Castle on Jaylen Brown, and then Carter Bryant on Tatum. I don't know. Something's going to happen. Carter Bryant's going to get cooked by Tatum for like 6 minutes and a quarter or something. I can see that happening. But either way, you know, again, I think that his offense could still be important. His just, you know, his overall impact could be important for the Spurs here. And yeah, like we're saying for award season as well too. Oh, Wemby misses the layup but snatches the rebound. So he's gonna get 40 tonight. Hey, yo. I guess he has a chance. To steal the MVP. Who's our next game against? who is our next game against? Because Shea is not playing tonight. So, again, not to say that he's tapping out. Pause. What's his games played for the year? 68, so it's not like he's going to be way ahead of Wemby. You know, Wemby needs this game to make the qualifications just in general. And, hey, yo, another one, chat. Another one. He might get to 40 right now. What's he at? And he's got to outduel Cooper Flagg as well, too. So, Cooper Flagg, 33. Yeah, Wemby, 37. He's one bucket away from 40. We need to keep talking like he's not going to win MVP. It seems to be working. It seems to be working. Yeah, he's at 41, 41, 34. I mean, he might be. I don't know if we can we look up the splits for his career here. It seems like he does, you know, heat up as the season goes. Can we get like a month by month situation for the career? Field goal percentage is kind of the same all the way throughout, just I guess lower in November for some reason. But he is 27 points a game. I guess 8 games in his career for April, but 25 a game, 27 games for his career in March versus 21, 23. Yeah, versus more like lower 20s. You know, now he's mid 20s in March, but definitely a little bit more, you know, energetic scoring in some of the end of these season performances. So I guess we're not going to be able to see what his last game is here. Well, I guess we know it's Sunday. So let me see. I guess I'll just look it up on my phone here real quick and see if I can find the schedule. Is it Denver again? Spurs Lakers? Spurs Rockets? Does it have to be like a rivalry? It's like a divisional game? I don't know. It is Spurs Denver. Yeah, so ESPN, I guess we'll be live Spurs Denver watching Wemby claim the MVP. Hey, yo. They already have Jokic listed as out, but I think that is for tonight's game, and they just have the injury report kind of copy and pasted. So we'll see. Hopefully, you know, last game of the season. The thing is, seeding isn't really going to matter. And again, for Wemby, he does need this game for awards territory. How many games is Castle at right now? Because Castle is out tonight. So for him, I don't know if he is necessarily going to make an all-NBA team. But yeah, 67 games. He would at least qualify for the, you know, he is in competition for those particular awards. But Wemby still needed to get this one to get there as well, too. And again, Dylan Harper as well, I guess, would need the qualifications for, like, all rookie. He's not going to win Rookie of the Year. You know, he'll be on the ballot. He'll be in the mix. And, yeah, the overall numbers for the season, again, 50% from the field and 34% from 3 is really, really, really good production for a rookie. 16 PER in 22 minutes a game. So, and yeah, 67 games played for him as well, too. So that is enough to get him in the all-rookie ballot, the all-rookie conversation. But for, like we're saying, this last game, I guess they're not going to need those awards. So that's going to be a little bit of a wait and see. I do imagine Dylan Harper will play. And that's how we know that we are, you know, degenerate Spurs fans and degenerate NBA fans. Like we were saying earlier, you know, we were having to peak a little bit at that. I guess if it's Julian Strother versus Dylan Harper, oh, now I'm back in, chat. Now I actually hope Giannis, hey, yo. I hope Wemby and Jokic don't play. Hey, yo, just to see what those teams look like. Just to see. I guess Cooper Flagg, but the thing is he still needs the awards because Concanepal's playing well. So he can qualify. But again, he's still battling for his specific spot. So I guess if Wemby does want to really go claim the MVP, does he have to play the last game and be like the last thing that the voters have seen? The last player, the last performance on the voters' mind? Did Flagg travel? I thought I heard a whistle, but that might have been in the Masters. Who knows? I thought he was walking a little bit there as he dribbled up to the three-point line. But it looks like they let him play on there. Oh, wait a second. Let's get everything back up and running here. Let's get the camera going as well, too. Okay, boom. We are back. So, yeah, the Cooper Flagg, obviously his crazy run as well too, of 41 or 45 and 51 points recently. The 100 points, but in 2 games, not quite 100 points in 1 game, but 100 points in 2 games is obviously incredibly impressive as well too. But it does seem like the Knuppel debate is definitely there. And I know we've been monitoring it. You still look at Knuppel's numbers for the year, and they have been really good. And, I'm not saying give the award out based on the last 20 games. So if you do that, then maybe, again, Wemby's MVP case does strengthen. So, yeah, Knuppel on the year. I mean, Knuppel's going to play 80 games, which in itself is impressive now in the modern NBA. Hey, yo. I guess I don't want to be the guy calling out guys too much for games played, but, just to monitor it, you got to, give credit where credit is due. 79 games played for Knuppel, 18 points, and 78% from the field, 43% from 3. And again, he is a rookie, but it does seem just like there has been a little less juice in his game. Hey, yo, I don't know if we need to, verify that on the stats, and if that's just, again, the bar that he's set for himself as well, too. The standard of play. You get kind of used to him being that, like we're saying, that 18-point-a-game guy, the efficient scorer, and you just start comparing him to that there. But if we go, I don't know, last month of the year, I guess, would be the last 16 games. I guess we could have counted out 15. But 16 points a game, 42% from the field, 38% from 3. So he's still a really, 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 really fine player. I mean, those are all, again, very, very productive numbers. And 16 games is by no means, all that should be considered for considering these awards. But I am just saying that you are seeing a little bit of what is, of course, potential for the players long term in terms of Flag and Knuppel, and what you'd build a team around. Look at that first 62 games of the season. So again, if we're talking about 2/3 of the season, do you want to award what is recent, or do you want to award what is, a majority of the year? But 62 games, he was 49% from the field, 44% from 3, and 19 points a game. But again, the Cooper Flag run has been so impressive as of recently, where he's scoring 40 and 50 points the other way. And now 30, and like we've said before, he's definitely having the opportunity where he's getting the field goal attempts. But he is also, like, I guess Wemby's 14 for 23, but Flag is 13 for 25 tonight. So he is still, like, kind of efficient as well, too. And, I guess you got Chris Middleton 5 for 8. What, do you want to give Chris Middleton a couple of jumpers? I guess, like, what guy are they, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall. There are guys that they are benching to, help Cooper Flag, I'm sure, pad the stats a little bit, help him tank as well, too. Kind of lock in the success both ways there. Oh, Cooper Flag can put up points, and, the roster can be a little weak, and Clay as well, too. But again, what's the upside with the Mavs if they have all those guys? They have 25 wins right now. If you have Cooper Flag and Najee Marshall and Klay Thompson and Nembhard out there, and, Brandon Williams, shout out. I'm sure with the way Cooper Flag's playing right now, it could be competitive. And I guess Lively, we're leaving out some of the centers as well, too, Lively and Gafford. But regardless, what was their over-under, right? I was going to say 35. Their over-under going in, the season was 41.5. I guess they had Davis as well, too. Hey, yo. But, they're maybe a 35-win team with this roster this year, the best version of it. So it is still, competitive. I guess we have to go double check and see if that's, I don't think that's play-in this year's West. I think you're going to have to be, in the 40s. But regardless, I don't think they're giving up too much to have Cooper Flag see some success here at the end of his rookie year. And again, just the punch of some of these scoring performances has been pretty crazy. I guess his three-point number is definitely lower overall, 29%. But is it efficiency? And I feel like Rookie of the Year, maybe you can award Buzz as well, too. Again, then literally give it to the Hornets guy. Oh, chat. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. It is what it is. But, I feel like that you can award sort of the hype around a player more so than MVP. I guess MVP is that a little bit as well, too. But Rookie of the Year isn't as consequential, I don't think, or I don't know if team success is as consequential, at least to me, to Rookie of the Year, or if it should be, or if it's just like, hey, again, which rookie had the best, most fun season? Again, you could say that Knupples had the best season as well, too, and just, the most fun season. If Cooper Flag was averaging, 9 points a game, but he's throwing down 2 cool dunks a game as well, it's like, okay, now he's one of the most fun players in the league. That's a totally different player. Could be the most fun rookie. I'm not saying that specific scenario, would yield him, of course, to being in the Rookie of the Year conversation. Again, he might win himself like a second team all rookie highlight base case at that point. Like, that could definitely happen. He could still overachieve in some way. But I think for this case, again, his numbers put him in a Rookie of the Year case, and he has been, as of late, the most impactful / just the most fun rookie as well, too. And again, I say fun because they haven't quite been able to win, but also his team is bad. So it's just, what's like a snake eating its own tail? Hey, yo, I guess I don't remember what that's called. We got to fire the Loki show back up. I don't know. But we got to, it's just, it's like the team's bad, so he has to score, but he has to score. So in the team is, well, I guess if he does, it's not, the team's not bad because he's scoring. But it's a good thing that he has to take the offensive responsibility that he has to take, because the team is, again, not necessarily have a good roster around him, but it's a little intentional as well, too. So, again, it is what it is. But regardless, he has definitely been making his case strong as of late, and this is going to help continue to add to the box score there. 6 and 5 assists, so you could say that he is responsible for a little bit more, though. Again, Knuppel is able to be a very additive creator in all of the elements as well, too. So this is going to be a fun one. I honestly think, mentioning Cade earlier, this might be the best. Is this the best Rookie of the Year race that we've had since then? And, again, you do, I don't know if you always have to, but there is, at least in my mind as well, too, something to trying to give Rookie of the Year to the best rookie long term if it's like a tie. If it's like a tiebreaker, I don't even know if that's like something that you do factor into the voting mentally, but I think there is something subconsciously of like looking back being like, well, you don't want to give the guy who is like the 7th pick. I guess, again, there's no wrong or right reason to the redraft stuff in that type of way in terms of like a Rookie of the Year conversation. Like, there's no way to know. You can't factor that in one bit. But again, I think maybe more so people just default to the higher scenario in those cases. But, I'm thinking like the Scotty Barnes, was it Scotty Barnes Cade that were battling that year? And Scotty Barnes did end up winning Rookie of the Year. He played 74 games that year, 15 a game. I guess we can go back and double check what Cade's overall numbers were. And that was, I guess, up until this season here, his best, offensive season, his best efficiency season as well, too. He was 49% from the field as a rookie. And he is, just over 50% this year as well. Let's see. The Wilt Chamberlain Rookie of the Year trophy. Hey, yo. Can we get just a history of the Wilt Chamberlain trophy, I guess, is really what we want. Here we go. I guess I don't know if we'll have the voting included, but yeah, Scotty Barnes won in 20. I guess we're right back to the same page that we were. Ayo, I just wanted to find the list of all the award winners there. But if we were to look up the voting, Mobley was second, and then Cade was third that year. So Mobley was kind of in the same scenario as well, too. Impactful guy to a better team. Both of them similar numbers, 15 and 8 for Mobley, 15 and 7 for Barnes, and they were both around 50% from the field as well, too. Again, Cade, 41% from the field, 17, 5 and 5, so his numbers were a little bit lower at that point. And Detroit was, in a little bit of a different class than Barnes, and Mobley. So I guess Cooper Flagg's scoring numbers are better than Cade's. And I'm trying to think if Cade had, again, like the high-end performances. I wouldn't say consistent high performances, but either way, the high-end performances that Cooper Flagg was having this season. Again, I don't know if Cade was necessarily taking 30 shots in a game at some times, but regardless, he still has the capability to pop off when he needs to. Hey, 34. He had a 34 in here, looking like that's the early career high so far. The first 30-pointer against Denver as well. And just because we believed in him the entire time, doesn't mean that, it wasn't a little bit of a slow roll. Not a slow roll, but, just a tad. So wait, another 34, 28. So yeah, early on, just kind of scoring in the 30s. Nothing in the 40s for his rookie year. Oh, I guess we could have just looked here. Yeah, 2 games for 30 points just in general for his entire rookie year. So if Cade had the random 40-point games, he did have 2 triple-doubles. I guess I don't know what those stat lines looked like here. Let's take a look. 13, 10, and 12, and then he had a 19, 10, and 10. So definitely lower on the scoring end there. If he had been a better scorer, again, obviously points are the number one factor as much as, you could make the case for everything else. At least obviously wins in terms of the other awards. Pretty important. But outside of that, how do you win games? Points. I mean, it is what it is. But regardless, if he had some higher scoring performances, I think it would have definitely made his case a little bit stronger. But because of that, because the numbers were basically the same across the board, I guess Scotty Barnes won it. Because was his team even better than the Cavs that year? We might have to go back and double check that. And Mobley, playing with Donovan Mitchell as well too on the timeline there. Wow. Hey, chat. 48 wins for the Raptors in 21-22. And then it's all this loading time for the Basketball Reference. Getting us tired. It is what it is. Hey, let's see. Cavs 21-22. 44. So yeah, barely the fact that the Raptors were the better team that year gave them the Rookie of the Year advantage. So fourth quarter, McLaughlin hit a 3 for San Antonio. That's right, Jordan McLaughlin's in the game now. Hey, you love to see it. I mean, speaking of great 11th men, chat, I mean, we might have to go through and rank the 11th men in the NBA. David Roddy versus Jordan McLaughlin. Ooh, I smell an expansion draft. Pause. Hey, but maybe I'm back in, chat. Pause. When the league announced that they were going to be, considering voting, I guess, on whatever for adding expansion teams, I was like, I guess I don't know if the league missed their window for generating the maximum amount of hype for that. They're going to generate maximum amount of money for that. So that's ultimately what's going to matter. But in terms of the fans, I think being the most, and just kind of the league cresting in terms of, there's going to be the ebbs and flows every year. Injuries are going to play a part in it as well too. But, I was like, and considering that it's not going to be adding an NBA team, like tomorrow, it's going to be 5-6 years from now. I'm not saying that maybe you are going to lose, like the LeBron, Steph, Durant generation. And once that starts to happen, obviously he's going to, LeBron will move in ownership. And then, the Jokic, Giannis generation will be in a different spot at that point. Guys like Booker, Brunson, Towns, just a whole collection of guys. I'm not writing off the whole league in 5 years, but I am just saying that there is going to be a little bit of a shift, and it's not just going to be like you're going to be able to carry over all of these guys into the next era. It's adding 2 teams, but still it's adding 2 teams. So maybe, just maybe like, I'm not saying Brunson's going to be in the expansion draft in 5 years. But, maybe there's like the sleeper guy that's kind of a star right now that we don't think about Bam Adebayo's gonna be? Yeah, I guess just because his name's highlighted here. Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, yeah, that's an interesting one. I guess if things went really, really bad, and because Utah's got a lot of draft picks, it'd be like, okay, in 5 years, would Jaren Jackson Jr. just randomly be all of a sudden, we're like, I can see it. And again, I'm just throwing it out there because obviously we know it's not gonna happen. But I'm just, what's a guy that we don't know is gonna be eligible as of right now, and then he might be eligible in 28, 29. But regardless, I guess that would go against our Jordan McLaughlin, David Roddy case. Is David Roddy gonna be in the league in 5 years? Hey yo, how old is David Roddy? Can we just put like minus 150 odds on that right now? Hey yo, if David Roddy is not playing for the expansion team night 1, then we know nothing about NBA basketball. It is what it is. 25, so he'll be 30. He'll be the veteran guy. Hey, yo, let's hope, chat. Let's hope, David Roddy, keep fighting, chat. Hey, yo, shout out. We're pro David Roddy on this pod. We love to see it. One of the, obviously, Big Body Roddy, one of the great nicknames in the NBA. Legitimately, honestly, when he's playing, it might be the number 1. Hey, yo. Big Body Roddy. I mean, there's just like an iconic, we need an iconic pickup guy. Honestly, he does go into the lineage, I think, of pickup all-stars for guys that you could comp yourself to in a pickup game. We got to start comping ourselves to David Roddy. 20% from the field, 0% from 3. Hey, yo. Shout out. Though, obviously, again, a very talented player over the course of his career. We look up his college stats, maybe, and prove our point there. But either way, the Colorado State run was obviously, very, very fun. But either way, like we're saying, he would definitely be in contention as well. Giannis Embiid is, honestly though, if Embiid's in the league in 5 years, shout out. If they have us running the team, we're drafting Embiid. Embiid might be number 1 on our pause expansion draft wish list, because that's a legit star. We get a legit superstar player to market our team around. Hey yo, we can legitimately build this roster out. Yeah, it is what it is. We're just not good at our job. We just cannot keep this microphone plugged in. We lead the league in microphone unplugs. It is what it is. It's our specialty. But regardless, what we're Ja Morant. Oh, Ja. Of course, it has to be Ja. It has to be Ja. If this whole endeavor was not leading toward us, I guess it's gonna be, what's the NBA Europe? We're going to be running NBA Estonia with Ja Morant. Hey, yo. I guess, that'd be a fun step forward in the right direction as well, too. Ja Morant, DeMar DeRozan. I guess that's best case scenario for the expansion team in 2028 is that some of these guys are still around, because that would be kind of randomly fun. I guess DeRozan was 32 or 32, yeah, in 21-22. So I guess what is he right now? 36. We get dropped the Kevin Hart, Don Cheadle reaction, and right there, shout out to Rosen. Hey yo, but and 49% from the field. He's still kind of cooking this year as well too. I mean, taking the Kings right to the number 1 seed in the draft. But either way, I guess if you were an expansion team, that wouldn't be a bad thing as well too. Some early top draft picks to help set the franchise in the right direction. Who's going to be up that year? I guess Bryce James is going in the draft right now. We'd have to pull up. Can we pull up the 24/7 chat? Some early scouting. See, this is proof of why we should be running NBA Seattle, NBA Barcelona, because we're already taking a look at who is in contention. I guess the team is going to be in the normal draft as well, too. So they will be eligible there. Is it like the W? They do the expansion draft, so you take your teams from the other players, And then after that, you just draft in the normal draft. I guess we'd have to see how the NBA timeline is set up there. So they were saying the 2028-29 season. So that would be, I guess, the 27 class. Is it this next class that would be going in? I don't know. Hey, yo. The 28 class, though. We don't have any. Do we have any commits? Does anybody in the top 100? Is anybody in the top 100 for 28 committed at this point? Locked in. NIL hasn't gotten that far yet. Or these guys are businessmen, chat. Look at this, businessmen. They're holding out. Hey, yo, you love to see it. Negotiate, chat. Just like Sinner said, negotiate. Never take the first offer. Always counter. But we've got, I guess, A.J. Williams, Isaiah Hamilton, Colton Hiller, Bamba Toure. Hey, yo, Bamba Toure is going to be our center, chat. Shout out. Bentley Lusa Kuno, Evan Willis, Aiden Diggs. Anybody from the state of Michigan on this list? Wait a second. We got Florida, Pennsylvania, Ontario. Isaiah Hamilton from Ontario. He might be in play for the university. Oh, Arizona State. Georgia Tech. What is this team here? LIU, Brooklyn. The Raging Cajuns. Hey, LIU, that's not Long Island, Brooklyn, maybe? I don't know. But Evan Willis out of California. I guess we got Arizona. Oh, Delaware? Oh, I guess Detroit is not a state. But DE, Detroit, I don't know. Chatsworth, California, Tennessee. Ohio, can we steal a kid out of Ohio, out of Cincinnati? I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully he's not going to go to the Columbus school. Oh, I guess he would go to Cincinnati, of course, before he would go to Columbus. Florida State. Is this Georgia State as well, too? That would be a good option. Louisville and then Maryland. Yeah, I wouldn't go to. I don't know about Maryland there, but Cincinnati would be fun. Or what do you say, Georgia State? Blaze Johnson as well, too. Who is this school here? East Texas A&M. Shout out. Though, Blaze Johnson is heavily considering Maryland. It does look like Jacksonville as well, too. Not Jacksonville State, just Jacksonville. Arizona. Illinois. Where is the Michigan talent in the class of 28? Hey, yo. I guess maybe we need to just, give it a second and see if the rankings shake out a little bit differently at this point. New Jersey, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Maryland, Kentucky, New Hampshire, New Jersey. Hey, yo, it is what it is. Indiana, we're just going to have to go across state lines to do some recruiting. Apparently, it's not going to be, us keeping the talent at home in this specific class. Hopefully, if Dusty May is still there and still saying that he's not taking any other jobs, then obviously the national appeal at this point would, hopefully be able to land some of these guys. And I guess transfer portal anyways is his move, so it doesn't even matter. But is there not a single guy? I guess here, let me sort it by the state. Now I just where is the state in general? Hey, yo. Is there not a single guy from the University of Michigan in the top 60, 70 here? Or from the state? Nobody, chat. Nobody in 2028, so I don't know. We need an investigative report. Rem and Sam investigates. What happened to the universe? What happened to Michigan State basketball? That nobody in the class of 2028 early recruiting reports yield that apparently we're calling you out. The state sucks at basketball now. The state sucks at basketball. We didn't say it. But apparently, according to reports, that the state is not keeping up. So this is crazy, Chad. This is crazy. Is it just this year, or is this like an actual epidemic that is said again? Okay, 2027, you see, it seems like the state is just fine. Oh, wait a second. It's because we're not looking at the state. Hey, yo. We're looking at everybody. I was like, wait a second. They have most of the guys. Maybe that's why. Did everybody reclassify? But no, apparently not. Okay, 2020. Two in the entire state. And neither of them are going to the Maize and Blue right now. Hey, yo. No, not considered? I mean, I guess 3-star prospects. Hopefully, Dusty May is paying attention. Obviously, he is. What do we got? Rhode Island, Toledo, Virginia Tech. It looks like Toledo apparently is working Michigan, chat. Ayo, pause. We need to make sure that the recruiters are locked in. They're gonna get Eden Vineyard and Stevie Hall out of the top 150. Would be honestly a fun get. You see Toledo in the tournament, could be a fun recruiting move. But 2 players in 2027, and I guess if we go for 2026 as well too. And again, maybe it's a school, maybe it's a state that has been more like top end talent in the list than it has been depth per se. But I would just assume it to be a better basketball state than 1 to 2 top prospects a year, 3. So it's slowly dwindling. And Toledo, hey yo, Toledo is back. It is what it is. So the sleeping giant of the recruiting, the interstate. I mean, maybe we need to go double check the facilities or the Instagram accounts. I don't know, but something is going on that apparently these guys are, at least considering Toledo. So he might, I guess, unless he transferred somewhere as well too. So 5 total. I guess let's compare to the home state here, Iowa. Again, you wouldn't necessarily expect Iowa to be a better basketball factory than Michigan. But, I mean, hey, yo, you've got 7 people in Iowa in 2026. So that is clearly, starting to take a little bit of a step forward in that direction. Let's see here, 2027. Let's see if that maybe was just a fluke year. Is Iowa trending forward for basketball talent? Can somebody join Keegan Murray and Marcus Page? But I think Keegan Murray currently and Caitlin Clark as well too. But we said Marcus Page before Caitlin Clark. Cancel us now, chat. Cancel us now. We couldn't remember. What is it? Love don't cost a thing. And we said Marcus Page in regards to Iowa basketball players before Caitlin Clark. It is what it is. We were just going in timeline order, but we said Keegan Murray, so we weren't. It is what it is. But again, Iowa with 4, and in 2027 was this the year that Michigan has 2. So Iowa consistently doubling up Michigan in basketball recruiting. Again, we're talking about the state, not the schools at this point, just to be clear. We would never put the University of Iowa over the University of Michigan. That's just, it is what it is. But in terms of, the amateur talent in the state at this point, the amateur talent in the state of Iowa. And this is a part where we can be biased because, again, this has nothing to do really with the University of Michigan outside of the fact that, you just got to recruit good talent at the end of the day. So if we're just talking about, the soil from which we grew, chat, hey, yo, we're the state's headed in the right direction. We've taken over at least Michigan now as a basketball state. So shout out. That is fun to see. And, obviously, again, maybe this time we wouldn't want him to stay in state. We need the talent again at the amateur level to brag about Iowa being a basketball factory, but we don't want them to actually go to the University of Iowa or Iowa State. It is a little bit of a, it's the duality of man. What can I say? Again, it just happens to be the schools that we root for. And Iowa is close enough to Michigan that we're not like, making crazy. It's not a crazy suggestion to be like, hey, if you were playing AAU basketball in the state of Iowa and, claiming that as the hometown state and then going to the University of Michigan after that, that is like kind of a logical move. I would say that I think the natural recruiting path should probably develop there anyways. But to brag about the home state basketball talent, it is seeming like it is, trending in the right direction there. So you love to see that. But hey, yo, I guess we'll do an investigation on state basketball some other time. Do we have to look up Memphis and see how Iowa compares to Memphis? I guess that's a state versus a city. No, we can't chat. Hey, yo, we can't. Shout out. Memphis has an NBA team, and there's no city in Iowa that has an NBA team. So hey, yo, every team in every city in Iowa ranked below Memphis because of that. There you go, chat. Shout out. Memphis, at least you're better than Iowa. If you want to take any if you want to take that as a win in any way, by all means, there you go. But I don't know why. Shout out. I mean, Memphis has been taking random strays, so there we go. They can get a random win there as well too. But yeah, shout out, I guess, for potentially we'll see what player. I guess, is there going to be anybody from the state of Iowa in the 2028 expansion draft? Yeah. Does anybody care? Of course not. Of course not. But when we get there, and if they're impactful, and of course, a top 3 draft pick, then obviously anybody will be looking at the storylines at that point to see where the impact is gonna happen at there. So we do have, I guess we said we don't have a Prime account, so this Rockets Timberwolves game is gonna be a little bit of a bummer to miss out on. But we do have Clippers versus Blazers, a consolation prize, Chad. Suns versus Lakers. Hey, yo, is Bronny playing? Is Bronny on the league pass tonight? Oh, it's still Bron. It's still Bron. Is that the last? That's the last step, Chad. Hey, yo, LeBron, if you're listening to this, I know that he listens. He's a big fan. Oh, wait a second. Rory McIlroy, we just looked over at our Masters, a little Masters update. He went on the run. He's at 11 under right now. Oh, and they just replayed a putt, Chat. A master. Hey, yo. Is that uphill? What a boss, Chat. I mean, that's our analysis. I mean, he made that putt uphill. Let's go. But now we analyze golf like Peter Schreger analyzes football. Hey, yo. We just say, let's go. But shout out to Peter Schreger. Call in. But either way, the last step for LeBron as a good dad in the NBA, if he hasn't done enough for his kid already, the last step in the good dad rankings in the NBA timeline of it all is he has to make sure that Bronny is the lead guy on League Pass at some point. Like Bronny's player profile picture is the one that is represented for the Lakers. So, and I feel like, again, they will prioritize, I guess if I can say that, respectfully, they will prioritize popularity in that sometimes over, just like straight up who is the best player. So if there was a night that LeBron and Luka and Reeves all got hurt, or not all got hurt, I guess it doesn't have to be that. I guess we're saying, quote unquote hurt on the injury report. But if they were all on the injury report, if they were all not playing, then he is now in the mix for, is Bronny the 4th most famous Laker? I think they sneaky have gone Rui Hachimura. Bronny would have to be in the starting lineup as well too, because they wouldn't necessarily make it somebody off the bench, because I guess there's no guarantee that you're gonna play if you're off the bench. I guess I'm literally making up rules now for the League Pass icon. I don't know if that's true at all, but I do think that they would make it a starter. So you would have to, again, have your 3 stars out, and Bronny would be starting. But again, the depth of the team is like kind of good, but also I feel like if you're missing your top 3, Bronny can step in a little easier than not. Marcus Smart is 4th in minutes played, so it's pretty easy to see, I guess, your top 4 out at that point. We have to get Bronny past Drew Timme. But again, Drew Timme's only played in 25 games. Bronny's played in 40 games. Dalton Knecht, Kleber. Kleber's not going to be on the League Pass rankings. Nick Smith Jr., maybe. Vanderbilt. I feel like I actually have seen all of these guys on the League Pass. Was Drew Timme literally on there the other night? I think he might have been. Hey, yo. So I guess we literally do have work to get Bronny over Drew Timme. Hey, yo, but Timme might have been in the starting lineup at that point as well, too. So that might be the case. So they have to get Bronny in the starting lineup, basically, is how it works. Has he started? 1 game. He started 1 game. At this point, shout out. Hey, yo. It is, obviously the impact off the bench can be an important thing as well, too. I guess the game started wasn't recently. Year 2 for Bronny already? Hey, yo, chat. And look at that. The numbers are getting better. 31 to 39, 28 to 35. I mean, those are big jumps. Hey, yo. I mean, again, shout out. Fortunately, he has the leeway to take those big jumps, but he's taking them. he is taking them. So a 10% jump in effective field goal percentage. You'll love to see it there. If he jumps up to 58% this next year, he'll be like a legit. I'm not even saying that, criticizing him. I'm saying that he will be like a legitimate rotation guy. Like, he'll be like Bronny would be like helping a team win a title, with like legitimate efficiency. But obviously, if LeBron is playing, then I'm pretty sure League Pass is gonna have him as the main guy. It is what it is. But shout out. There was that we saw like this slow-mo, highly cinematic video of Bronny taking this like half-court buzzer beater, and he was like fading away to the side, and it just was this beautiful cinematic shot of this high arcing three just sailing through the air, looking like it was gonna be clean in the basket, and then it turned out he literally missed everything. He missed everything. AO pause, rim, backboard, net, all of it. It was not good, but. Again, it was like kind of a long fading sideways at the buzzer three, so you only expect so much. But it was one of those like, oh, is he posting this because this is like the best play that Bronny's ever made? And then it's just like, nope, another guy trolling Bronny. It is what it is, and again, we're pro Bronny on this pod. We like it. He clearly, I think he does have basketball. I don't know. Again, it's probably not my place to speak on players' mentalities, but I think there is a little bit of there's just a lot going into those three-pointers when he takes them. It is what it is. So I think the fact that he's 35% with, is a credit in some ways. But I think as time goes on as well, too, how many seasons will he get? But I think year 3, year 4, I think you can already see it as well, too, as he plays. He just needs to, have a legit stretch of playing consistently a lot where he works out. And I think the fans as well, too, again, it's like a big deal every time he takes a three. It just needs to be maybe a little bit more normalized across the board for him mentally and for the team and for not the team, but, the fans, more so. For the fans, and I guess maybe the team, but again, the team's a different thing, not a different thing. But in regards to, I'm taking this 3-pointer, like I have to make this. There just needs to be like, he just needs to be playing easy, free basketball, and the fans just need to be, not to say they can't be excited about him taking 3-pointers because you want to be energetic about the game as well too, but there is just a different type of reaction that happens when Bronny is taking a three compared to like a Jake LaRavia three. I guess shout out, he's in the starting lineup, so we picked him out to make fun of. I guess because Ayton wouldn't take a three and Hachimura and Kennard are like good at threes. I don't know. Oh, no Booker tonight though for the Suns, but Dylan Brooks is back. I'm trying to make a couple games back to make his All NBA case. I don't know if he'll get an All NBA exemption or not, but. We do have Dylan Brooks back. LeBron playing, Dylan Brooks had to show up. You love to see it. He won't run. I mean, if, there's one thing about Dylan Brooks, he won't back down. Shout out. I mean, we're pro Dylan Brooks. I can't believe, did they have, I think they did, actually. Now that I think about it. Was it Dylan Brooks or Mark Williams? Or was it Colin Gillespie or something? I don't remember. But Dylan Brooks in the league pass rankings at this point in the night, or at this point in the season, as well too, is not crazy. I mean, he is probably their second best, but again, also their second most famous as well too, like just a very, very notable player with the waves that he's able to create there. So yeah, 33 for Cooper Flagg tonight, just to double check that one more time there. So Miami versus the Wizards again. Do we double check? Fontecchio 24. So what's Bam's excuse for tonight? He didn't take as many shots. He let Fontecchio do the scoring. 38 minutes played. Okay, I mean, he did have an efficient game. That is funny. Bam is actually really good at cooking the Wizards. So, I mean, is Bam going to be at the press conference saying, I mean, if I did take 40 shots tonight, I would have had 80. I mean, I was at 50%. I might have actually played better tonight. He shot better percentage from 3, and he made all of his free throws. So more rebounds. 11. He had a triple-double almost. 20, 11, and 8. 2 assists. So Bam is the official, he is the official Wizards killer of the NBA. Hey, yo. Everybody has their team. Bam Adebayo has the Wizards. It is what it is. But yeah, Fontecchio 8 for 10 tonight as well too. Cooking 6 for 8 from 3. Hawkes 23 and Pell Larson with 24 as well too. And Kasparonis with 16, Khalil Ware with 12. So I mean, again, they have not, I guess, unless Bam obviously is, scoring 28 a game, a reasonable number instead of, 83. But if Bam does become a lead guy, then, obviously there is the solo name that you have there. But otherwise, it does seem like the talent that they are drafting in Hawkes can be a little game to game as well too. This is clearly the best of the best for Hawkes. I mean, you're getting the best of the best. So I feel like is it Howard Beck from The Ringer that maybe I heard one time made this point where he just said it, and he said this a couple years ago maybe, and it still applies. But he said if you want your team to, if you want to see what the best version of your team is, if what is possible, then just watch them when they play the Wizards, and you're gonna see, the dream version of your team. It's like, oh, this is what we could be every night if we played the best basketball, and if I guess we were just playing this level of opponent as well too. But regardless, that is a collection of names that is a really good collection of names. Again, Bam, Bam's got some years here. I don't think Bam will be in the he's not going to be expansion draft watch list. I think he should still be good enough that the Heat will have him locked down at that point. Hey, maybe even Asia Wilson as well too. But either way, just a little pop culture commentary there. But you'll have Bam, Khalil Ware, Kasparonis, Hawkes, and I guess Norm Powell as well too, as a guy right now. But Pell Larson, like, that's 6 guys. And we didn't even include Tyler Hero. Again, Tyler Hero Hero's your 7th man in that situation. I know that the contract scenario is going to look a little bit different. But if Tyler Hero's your 7th man in that situation, that's not bad at all. So, again, do they have a number 1 guy that fully stands out, amongst those guys as, like, is he going to be the All-NBA guy? Obviously. And, again, there is a Heat thing where it seems like they can get, the number 4 guy on one team to be, like, the second best, to have, like, that second best guy kind of performance on another team. So there is, if Hawkes was on a different team, would he, again, consistently be a guy that's like, oh, Hawkes could be the second best guy on the court on a given night? I guess the Warriors have a little, again, obviously that goes to good infrastructure as well, too. But, they can definitely elevate the performance of their guys. So, again, it's a little, do they have a collection of, like, third best guys, maybe we should say, versus, because, again, like, the Thunder, not every guy's a franchise guy per se, but obviously Shea, MVP of the league. I think Jalen Williams has the potential to, he could definitely be the number 1 option on a team. Do we know how good that team could be? But he has that skill set to be the number 1 option. I think Chet has the skill set to be the number 1 option on a team. So, again, it's a little bit of a different level of the star. I mean, the Spurs, obviously, with Wemby and Castle have kind of formed that. Harper, I guess Fox is, has proven that he can be a star on his own team. Again, is that team always going to be a 50-win team? Maybe not if he is the absolute best guy on the roster. And, maybe it's not always competing for titles in the same way, but he can be that and produce at a very, very high level in that way. And that team can be competitive. Again, can Kasparonis go somewhere? Or if Kasparonis and De'Aaron Fox were a 1-2 in Sacramento, it might be like a 32-win team, but maybe again, I guess we're just like random. It is what it is. The Heat have a nice, so they could definitely be in the trade market there. Is this a Giannis trade scenario? Is this the Pell Larson, Kasparonis, Khalil Ware page, or Khalil Ware package with some picks involved as well? I don't know, but for something, at least you've got building blocks there. And maybe Tyler Hero has, again, the contract, but you have those pieces in place. Because Hero was a guy that could take a lot of offensive responsibility for you, but maybe, again, if you're building your team around him as the main building block guy, you don't necessarily know what that looks like. But if he was your sixth man off the bench, or in some scenarios your third or fourth scorer, that could be very, very productive as well too. But for going forward, again, if you could have a rotation of guys without him and get quality minutes, then you at least have another contract there that you can, potentially look at seeing what is out there. And, again, I don't know what you would consider if he was in the trade, if he was like the quote unquote main piece in a Giannis trade. But could Hero be the largest contract in the Giannis trade? And I think those terms can be a little misleading sometimes, where, again, main piece, but he could, again, I think he's good enough to be the largest contract, if that makes sense. Expiring, I guess it depends if Milwaukee would value that long-term thing with the younger players and the picks that they would get potentially. But that would be interesting. Giannis and Bam together, I don't know, two guys that could drop 70 at any given point might be too dangerous. And then you have Norm Powell there as well. I guess, what are we looking at here for draft assets for Miami for the future? Let's see if we can look at that real quick, because I think they have it listed potentially. They do have their first this year, I guess. Wait, round 1, round 2? Yeah, okay. So they do have their first in 26 and 27. It is top 14 protected. So they do need to tank next year, I guess. If they are good in the regular season, it will go to Charlotte. And then if Miami conveys in 2027, so I guess they get theirs if it is not going to Charlotte in the next year. But then after that, they are clean of trading first-round picks. So for the most part, I guess, point being, they do have some flexibility. I guess I don't know how that necessarily ties them up on the trade machine. But I'm sure you could re-protect that somehow. It seems like there are so many picks these days that, if it doesn't default to this team, then it defaults to that team, but then it'll just default to that team the next year if it doesn't default to that team. And it's like, okay, I'll just need to see where. And then, the guy wears the hat on draft night, and it's like, well, then it's not even the right place in general. So it's like you literally need to see, what jersey he is showing up on. And then you need to have your jersey insurance as well, too, because he's probably going to be traded after that. It's just a constant madness cycle these days of trading. It is what it is. From picks to players, we can't keep it straight. It is what it is when we're just in terms of we're just talking about information. But either way, Miami could throw in a few future firsts as well, too. And, Giannis is in that stage of his career where if you are a team trading him away, you could talk yourself into taking those team first back that you are trading Giannis for, because, again, it's just like some wild card years ahead. Not to say that, it's a wise gamble, but I'm just saying you could talk yourself into that gamble. So, some of the Miami core guys, and Miami's always going to be, in the discussion as well, too. But the problem with them being in the discussion for forever now has been they just haven't had the guys. Basically since, and I'm trying to, what did they get Jimmy Butler for back in the day? Was that a sign and trade situation with the Sixers? So that becomes, a little less about what is given up and more about the cap flexibility and how, teams are making the moves at that point. You're a little more willing to take less back at that point, because again, you could lose the guy in free agency, but it's about getting him to a specific destination and the leverage, the maneuverability of that. But as a 5-team trade was traded by Miami with Golden State, but 4-team trade traded to Philly, from Philly to the Heat. The Clippers traded cash to the Heat. The Heat traded a 2023 first, which was later Hawkes, to the Clippers. So they just ended up getting that pick back anyways. The Heat traded Josh Richardson to the Sixers. Whoa. The Heat traded Hassan Whiteside to the Blazers. The Sixers traded Matthias Lesort to the Clippers. The Blazers traded Maurice Harkless to the Blazers. The Blazers also traded Myers Leonard to the Heat. Hey, yo. So they basically, if I'm getting this right, they basically traded Jimmy Butler for Josh Richardson. Is what it sounds like to me. And I guess the salary cap space to sign Tobias Harris. So it was, would you rather have Tobias Harris and Josh Richardson or Jimmy Butler? Turns out the answer was Jimmy Butler. Unfortunately, Josh Richardson, I guess, had just scored 16 points a game that year. But 41% from the field, had a decent history of 3-point percentage before that. So again, you could talk yourself for him going into that team as the fourth creator on that Philly team and being effective and not necessarily having, too much responsibility there. But that's a brutal one looking back. Pat Riley really working his genius that time. It is what it is. A madman in the lab. So I don't, the Giannis trade, I guess it could be along these lines. It could be along the lines. Khalil Ware, it could be really like a Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero, and a couple of future first-round picks. Because if they do, and, that's a shout out. Like, Khalil Ware is a good player. I mean, Tyler Hero is a good player. But I think, you bring in Giannis, you're raising the ceiling of your team. Maybe Wiggins is reinvigorated as like a franchise-type guy. You still maybe have one of Hawkes or Larson. And maybe they want to keep Larson around as well too. I don't know, but maybe once the off season is here and we can maneuver the trade machines a little bit more. Hey, yo, we got to take another timeout. We got to penalize ourselves for keep unplugging the mic. It is what it is. We'll be right back. All right, chat, we are back, and we were going to get an update, actually, on the Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini fiasco that has been going on, but IT said that there was a do not disturb sign on their hotel room, so they can't ask them for comment right now. It is what it is. We'll be circling back on that story later. Wemby did get the 40-point mark tonight as well, too. Hey, yo, are we testing 1, 2, 3? Are we back? I guess, we are going to take a look. I guess it's some more NBA stats. It is what it is, but we did want to catch an update of the second half of the season, of course, with, like we said, the totality of the regular season winding down here, and we'll be focusing on a lot of those season awards and playoff picture conversations in the Sunday end of the season megathon, I guess, is maybe what we're workshopping the title with. We'll cook up a title. I guess that'll be tomorrow's task. Will be to cook up a title as and then while we're grocery shopping maybe. But yeah, so Wemby 40 points. I guess Jeremiah Fears 36. We're getting ahead of ourselves, I guess, in the player stats here. This is all to make the case for our Spurs-Charlotte finals bet that we haven't made yet. I mean, we probably should have made it a while ago as well, too, if we wanted to get peak odds, though. The odds are still probably going to be pretty good. I would imagine that the Charlotte side of that bet, is gonna help our bet favorably. It is what it is. But let's see here. I think IT was saying they want to take it from January 15th and use that as about a halfway mark of the season here to determine what we've got. I guess, of course, Luka's run that he was on was crazy, and he did lead the league in scoring. I guess 64 games played is his total for the year here, so we'll have to actually filter it down and see what's going on. Edwards number 3, 28-9. I guess only 2 guys with 30 for the year. I guess we'll have to go back and double check. Is that low? Hey, how many guys get 30, in a year? In general, that's probably pretty high, to be honest. 3 for the last half of the year. Embiid in his 17 games played. Shout out, though, Philly 12-5 when he plays. He's 30 a game. What are we going to go through? Look at the matchups and see that they're against tanking teams. I mean, they're winning some games when Embiid's playing. The man, he's injured. He used to be the best center in the league, and now he's a little bit of a different place. Like, now Wemby's in the league. Give the man a break. Hey, it is what it is. Is their director gonna make the best movie in the business every single time? Hey, I guess, again, we're literally talking like, what, LeBron and Denzel out here as guys that are the best in the business for all these years. Like, the man's producing. The man can go out there and produce. I guess you want to throw the salary at me. He earned it. Have you ever heard of that? I'm sorry, he's making money that he earned. I guess it is, sports is one of those things. I guess all jobs are one of those things. You do want to be paying people in the moment, like literally second. You have to be, earning your dollar value every second. You know how much money Embiid generated for Philly over those years that he was playing? And I guess you could say, well, what about all the money that, when he was missing it? The man was winning MVPs there for a while, had about a decade-long run if you go back and look at it. I know it's going to be one of those things like the 30 for 30, the 7 years of Embiid. It's like, wait a second, Embiid was an all-star for 4 years? What happened there? But, I guess his career, he hasn't even been in the league. Oh, chat. Hey, 9 years in the league. It is what it is. Okay, wait, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years? Yeah, an 8-year run. Okay, he got there. That's an 8-year, Hall of Fame career. That is a Hall of Fame career. Did he hit the 5 All-NBA mark? He's at 5 and 7. Boom. MVPs, lock it in. What's Hall of Fame percentage on Basketball Reference right now? What do we get? Like 73? 66.2? So that should be good to go. But, I guess for us, we're saying that, at some point, he's 100% at some point a Hall of Famer. Though I don't know, again, if 66 accounts for him being, a couple of cycles through before he actually gets in. And I don't know what this Do a 180 nickname is. Also, Big Fella, I feel like that's Shaq's nickname, but that is also a nickname that Shaq just does apply to people as well. So I guess Embiid, a big fella, so shout out. But JoJo, the process, Do a 180. I don't know. I feel like that one just got added on like a couple of weeks ago. Do a 180. Hey, yo. Philly fans are going to be like, no, that's actually like something. That's like the highway in Philly and only real Philly. It's like a Kendrick lyric. Only real Philly people know. Don't say you're a Philly fan if you don't know the Do a 180 nickname. It's like, okay, hey, yeah, I'm sorry. I just never heard of it before. I've just never heard of it. It is what it is. Don't burn our car because we didn't know Joel Embiid's nicknames. It is what it is. We're defending the man over here. He's third in scoring in the second half of the league, second half of the season. Shout out. 31 a game, 50% from the field, 45% from three. I mean, he's legitimately still offensively a really good player. And again, he was an amazing player for 8 years there. They paid him because he was an amazing player. And I'm sorry, moment to moment, he's not necessarily, scoring the points per game that may equal that dollar value. But again, he was equal to that dollar value at some point in his career. And as a working man in America, I believe that that's okay. Hey, yo. Hot take. I guess we're viewing the NBA differently, chat. We're viewing the NBA differently. Shout out Embiid. He's the man. He plays a little basketball. He's good. They gave him a paycheck. You know what? He got hurt. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry. And again, we're in a very good mood because the Spurs are winning 60 games. Michigan just won a national title. We'll hopefully have Wemby for the next decade. But, again, right now we don't have the contract issues as well, too. So, again, we're never going to have to be the team that deals with these Philly, again, quote unquote, and especially now with the way that the league is very, very restrictive. I understand the frustrations that are going to be voiced for how certain contracts play out in team scenarios. But all I'm saying is just like, and all I'm saying is, he provided your team that. So if you say, well, why don't you trade, we'll trade him to you and you deal with his contract. He didn't give me the happy, pause, the great, moments. I guess, don't necessarily argue back with the, the lack of some of the finals, conference finals, playoffs, whatever's. It's like there's still all those positive moments that, the max contract is like a line here. And then, everything above that is, a cherry on top pause in terms of the max contract as well, too. Hot take. I don't think you necessarily have to win the title to, be a max contract guy as well. We're talking about it. Again, the salary cap is a legitimate competitive thing, but we're also talking about a paycheck here. And, gosh darn it, chat, if we don't want these guys, making a little money, it is what it is. So I know that, make no mistake, they're making a little money. But we're just on a pro worker, I guess, rant today. It is what it is. Call it pro player. It's pro labor, chat. Hey, yo. Pro labor, and you know what? The NBA, it is a labor force in America. They're a well-compensated labor force. It is it's a labor force that we're jealous of. But again, we will, as a, do we say a fellow worker? we're right on the same level as an NBA player, right? As workers in this country. It is what it is. We basically do the same thing. Restaurant hosting and NBA, center, MVP, multi-time top 10 MVP, season center versus restaurant host. We're both workers in this country, and we both want to get as much as we can. So, I guess for Embiid, it is what it is. I don't know what this has to do with him scoring 30 points a game, but shout out. Anyways, shout out to Embiid. Edwards 29, getting close. It is what it is. Jaylen Brown, chat. I feel like we've lost the focus of the stats. We have to redial it back in. We have to refocus on NBA accomplishments, NBA production, All-Stars, Hall of Fames, points per game, assists, things like that. We might have to just go peruse some advanced stats real quick to really lock back in. Hey, yo, we have to watch some Joe Johnson highlights to reset. It is what it is. But, we have Jaylen Brown, obviously. maintaining his fantastic season this year, 28 a game in the halfway point of the year. And Kawhi as well too. Kawhi 34 games played is the most of any of these guys in the top 7. So who would have thought? Wait, top 10? I guess until you get to Wemby at 11 and then Durant as well too, 42. But who would have thought for the last half of the year of the guys in the top 10 in points per game, again, since, last half of the year, that Kawhi Leonard would have the most games played of any of those guys. So he has been a little bit consistent as well too. It's been unfortunate that the Clippers are now depleted of all their star talent and a play-in team, and he's decided that it's now time for him to commit to the franchise in a way that he never has before. But it's been a little validating that Kawhi has always been as productive as he has been, and I guess not validating. It's also been tricky as well too. We call it validating. The Clippers call it purgatory. I don't know. 50% from the field, though, 38% from three. Actually, a little bit. It's his lowest percentage in the Clippers, but his highest total, his highest, attempts per game. So he is his highest makes per game, anyways, in his career. So I guess, overall, the 3-point volume is as high as it's ever been. And he's still 39% there, 50% from the field overall. And again, 51-52 there for the peak of his Clippers playing days is going to be the highest achievements that he was at there. But yeah, minutes played, I guess 2,000. I guess he was at 2,300 minutes in 23-24. But didn't he just get hurt in the playoffs this year as well too? Yeah, he played 59 minutes in the playoffs that year. 59 minutes. So as great as that season was, and I know that there's only so much you can do as well too, and maybe 300 minutes is the max. So I don't know, does Kawhi have 300 minutes left? Pause. Hey, we tread lightly as we discussed that. But so he after all these years. Oh, chat. Hey, testing 1, 2, 3. Are we back? The microphone on mute. It screwed us over. It is what it is. If you watch the stream, we are thankful for it. You put up with the technical difficulties. I don't know. You just wait and skip through it afterwards. I don't know what you do, but you put up with it, and we appreciate it. But point is, and maybe it was a good thing that technical difficulties were there because we were complimenting Kawhi Leonard, and maybe they didn't need to be happening. So take two. Do we be honest about the moment that we just had in our compliments of Kawhi, or do we just pretend like that didn't happen and we just keep it moving? It is what it is. But again, the Spurs have won like 60 games. We have Wemby, we have Castle, we have like an entire core, and to be honest, we definitely were a good team when Kawhi. I mean, we were a regular season great team when Kawhi was there. We won 60 some games, I think. Was it 60? Okay, 61 in 16-17 is, I'm pretty sure, the year that I'm thinking of here. We didn't win more. Okay, no, 67. Yeah, we did win more than that. 67 in 15-16. So we did have the back-to-back 60-win years there. LaMarcus Aldridge as well, too. Shout out like an all-NBA level. I mean, a Hall of Fame level player, if we're being honest, right? Hey, yo. I mean, it's close. It's definitely close. 5 All-NBAs for LaMarcus Aldridge, second or third. 5 All-NBAs, 7 All-Stars. Lock it in. LaMarcus Aldridge, Hall of Famer at some point in his career. Again, he may have to take his turn. Will LaMarcus Aldridge make a Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick? I don't know about that. I guess I don't know how many years he has to wait now as well, too. He might not be eligible until next year because he did play in the 2022, he played in the 21-22 season. 12 points a game for Brooklyn that year. So, and who knows? He may pull a Phillip Rivers and like step back into the NBA at some point. And if you're playing the big three, does the league, I don't know what the league thinks at that point as well. But again, we were definitely a good team at this point. And shout out to, Parker still being on the team at this point, Ginobili still being on the team. We still had Danny Green as well too, Boris Diaw. Like, these title guys were definitely great. And obviously, it's still very much the core of the team that we had in terms of the quote-unquote role guys at that point, though Kyle Anderson and Jonathan Simmons start to, take a little bit more importance. I forgot about the David West minutes. 18 David West minutes a game. Hey, yo, it is what it is. But, either way, like, we have fully surpassed now kind of what that team was with this team, or maybe what this team could be with this team, because I don't know, it's close versus right now whether or not, LaMarcus Aldridge was a bucket. So you could easily say that LaMarcus Aldridge right now was a better basketball player than Steph Castle, though again, Steph Castle has a two-way thing. It is very, very close. But me personally, as a Spurs fan, again, taking the Parker, Danny Green, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili factor out of it, that part of the core. If you're asking me if I want to build a team around Kawhi Leonard or LaMarcus Aldridge or Wemby and Steph Castle, I'm taking Wemby and Steph Castle. That's an all-time historical factor. Again, I'm being, biased against Kawhi at that point because Kawhi proven that, he can take a team without LaMarcus Aldridge to the finals. If LaMarcus, well, I guess him and LaMarcus Aldridge, well, him and LaMarcus didn't like each other, I don't think. So there is that factor as well, too, that you would have to consider for, the practical team building nature of those two guys. But in terms of those two basketball talents specifically, again, he didn't necessarily have a player as good as LaMarcus Aldridge on the Raptors. I mean, I guess Kyle Lowry as well, and Pascal Siakam, those guys could definitely play at that level. But I think Aldridge has had better careers than both of those guys. But either way, I think Castle, again, his two-way dynamic ability, there is a proof of concept with him at UConn, a little bit different, but, somewhat of a proof of concept. And just, again, who Wemby is as a basketball player. So it's just like, I guess, Popovich, shout out, the nostalgia for Pop coaching a team, I guess would be something that, this 15-16 Spurs team would have over the 25-26 Spurs team. But it is crazy that 10 years ago, 67 wins, it felt like that was going to be the core for, and this is funny when you go and throw out those terms like, this is going to be the core for the next 10 years, blah, 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 blah. But, it did feel like Kawhi was going to be that next generation. I mean, how old was Kawhi at this point? Hey, yo. Like, what are we, 91? Hey, yo. I guess we're going to have to do 24. So you could have definitely seen him, Steph Curry 10 years at that point being mid-30s on this team. You just, that's the Spurs way. That's the Spurs way. Manu's 38. Tony Parker's 33. I guess Tony Parker, did he even make it to 34 in San Antonio as well, too? But he got there when he was like 18. So, he had a crazy career at that point. He did. He left San Antonio when he was 35. 36 was that random Charlotte season. We can get AI to, undo that. AI, erase Tony Parker from Charlotte history. Hey, yo. We don't mean that. It's just, as a protective Spurs fan, it is what it is. But, either way, Tony Parker, legendary as well, too, at that point, still hanging around in San Antonio. So it's like that's what San Antonio is going to be. It's going to be that forever. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge was, the rare example of a guy in literally the history of the franchise. Like, LaMarcus Aldridge is like the one, like, all-NBA level free agent that we've, like, ever signed. Everybody else has ever been, like, literally, I mean, this entire core has been drafted now as well, too. The best signees we have, I guess, De'Aaron Fox would be, so De'Aaron Fox and LaMarcus Aldridge are the two best acquisitions in San Antonio history in terms of, acquiring current playing guys from other teams. I think that could literally, that could be it. That could be it. I mean, it could be a 70s, 80s guy that I'm going to think about. Artis Gilmore, we go back and double check that. I don't know. But, again, mostly a drafted team with guys that stay forever. And we would have, you put me there, April 10th, 2016, I guess, is this season, right? That's the playoffs for this year. So I guess, or that's the end of the regular season. So we hadn't quite lost to the OKC Thunder in the playoffs. And, OKC probably thought at this point as well, too, that, they're going to have their team for the next decade as well. I mean, this whole next offseason, literally the league, shifts forever. It is what it is. We might have to do like an offseason review, honestly, of this offseason. Like, it is crazy. Just, obviously, you think about how crazy it is just initially because it created the Warriors. But just that San Antonio was still the same for the next year as well, too, because Kawhi is there in 16-17. 17-18 is the rough season, and then 18-19 is the year that he wins the title in Toronto. But, again, just the fact that it's really the one season after that, like, just, how much the league changes. Hey, yo, just based on that. San Antonio, Golden State specifically, and Golden State had already won the titles as well, too. But, regardless, hey, the league obviously took a massive change. And, I guess OKC as well, too. But then the fact that there's the ripple effect that now they're making moves and they're dealing with the Rockets and the Rockets are making moves. And, the league is just crazy at that point. The trade, the start of trading superstars for a lot of picks culture. Again, we obviously haven't got to the Kawhi trade yet, but, for what that trade was, a little bit different for how the trades look now. But either way, again, it wouldn't have been surprising, us losing to this OKC team, us losing to Durant and Westbrook at the time. So, who would have thought as well, too, that, again, for both those franchises were going to have their cores for forever. I mean, we were going to have Kawhi and the OKC was going to have Durant. And I don't know if OKC would trade, again, I guess Durant's in a different spot than, I guess we weren't saying right now, though, when we were comparing Wemby and Kawhi. Though, again, the fact that Shea hasn't necessarily broken the hearts of the Thunder franchise, maybe the Thunder would take Shea at that point. But I don't know. I feel like you actually still would and Westbrook over it kind of might honestly be a Westbrook versus Jalen Williams factor at that point as well, too. I don't know. We may have to ask the GPT real quick. Hey, yo, the unofficial second answer. What does the AI say? What does what does AI Sam say? Hey, yo, what do we got here? We've got KD, and I guess what is do we have to go like a season? Do we go this year? So I know if we went 25, 26, Shea, Jalen specifically, unfortunately Jalen has been hurt, So last year, basically Shea, equally as good, and you get the better version of Jalen Williams as well too. So we've got 15, 16 KD and Russ versus 24. I guess, am I getting my years correct? We're in 25, 26. Ayo. 24, 25 SGA, and now I have to get dollar sign, and now I have to get the Jalen Williams nicknames right, because it's J Dub and J Will. It's SJ. If we get the wrong Jalen Williams, that could drastically change the answer. But I think, do we have to verify on Basketball Reference? I think it's J Dub, but again, it is an important distinction here. So let's see. Oh, James Worthy is the first J Dub that pops up. So if that's a nickname, then it is obviously the first one. So yeah, J dash Dub. I guess just not just J space Dub, because James Worthy also J dash Dub, and Jason Williams I guess J Dub, but his is I guess because they're J Dub J. Well, I guess they're all JW. It is what it is. I guess Jalen Williams does a lot of winning as well too, so he could be J Dub J Williams, and so is James Worthy J Dub J Williams championships as well. I mean, shout out, Jason Williams was winning a championship there in Miami. He didn't need Sacramento, but either way. So we got SGA and whoa, wait a second, what are we doing here? Whoa, that could have gone bad, chat. That could have gone bad. Thank goodness IT cleared our search history recently, but. Let's see what we got here. J-Dub versus Russ, I think, is going to be the deciding factor here in this battle. A little battle of the OKC cores. Heliocentric chaos versus modern efficiency and control. Hey, yo, ChatGPT, always so eloquent with its typing, I guess, speech. 2015-16 Durant Russ. KD 28 a game, absurd shot making, 50, 39, 90. A forgotten efficiency season because it doesn't get into that qualification. But Russell Westbrook at that point, 23, 10, and 7. Obviously triple double capable, just being able to play next to Durant. I think a little underrated there. I know Durant, it's funny because, and looking back, I mean, I guess, we were pretty complimentary of Russ after that. We literally gave him an MVP. But it was funny that the storylines did become that it was like, well, Durant needs to get away from Russ as a player and find this new bliss as a basketball player, as a basketball guy. And it just turns out that Durant just gets sick of his basketball situation every couple of years. And that's what it is. It turns out that Russell Westbrook is actually the teammate that kept Kevin Durant around the longest. It turns out. Hey, yo, maybe that's why hey, yo, chat, maybe that's why, they don't talk. I guess, does Durant talk to Steph, though, at this point? Durant just, he just burns relationships down. It is what it is. I don't think Durant was really, talking to anybody in the league after. Well, I think he talks to Steph when LeBron's around. It's like the LeBron, Durant, Steph, they acknowledge kind of what they are to NBA history, and they I think, sitting around sipping wine and talking about it. I think LeBron likes sitting around and talking about how important those three guys are to NBA history. So, I think Durant gets kind of involved in those conversations. But, again, I just remember being like, oh, yeah, I'm, obviously he's sick of playing with Russell Westbrook. Who wouldn't get sick of playing with Russell Westbrook? And looking back, I mean, obviously I get, Durant's sort of, again, the efficient nature of his game, but also I think we would all love playing with Russell Westbrook. Let's be honest. Who would not love playing with Russell Westbrook? The man's trying every possession. Who does not love that? But either way, the vibe of this duo is they're going to overwhelm you. Hey, yo, SGA and Jalen Williams, we're going to pick you apart. Interesting. Surgical, controlled, hyper efficient. Okay, so what does that mean for who is better? half-court offense, more explosive but streaky. Russ spacing issues matter. Do they? Because this is peak Russ just down, just like as fast as he can, dribbling up the court and then stopping on a dime and somehow getting that bank shot to go. Where later in his career, it would definitely just be like firing off the backboard. But at this point, it's still dropping. So I guess specifically though, the half-court offense goes to SGA and J-Dub. See, again, you have Durant. I mean, Durant in the half-court offense is, I mean, that's, again, the fact I have to say that at least cancels out SGA is crazy. Like, Durant's one of the, again, 15 best offensive players to ever play the game. That's generous. That's generous. But, like, he could easily be one of the 5. He could easily be the best offensive. Like, Durant could, I guess, you say it like that. Durant is in the conversation for the best offensive player that's ever played. I don't know if SGA is in the conversation as of yet for the best offensive player that's ever played. If you want to say even after MJ as well, too, for Durant for that conversation, like, so be it. However you want to open it up to as much of NBA history as possible, Durant's as good as any of them. So, again, a half-court offense, I think they're just trying to give SGA and Jalen Williams a win there. But they give Russ and KD the edge in transition. And, again, you have to because you have Russell Westbrook, who is clearly the best there. So, shot-making, KD best in the world, I guess, half-court offense, shot making are two different things there, but either way, it is what it is. SGA is insanely consistent, but KD's ceiling is different. And I think defensively, SGA and Jalen Williams are underrated, but so are KD and Russ, and athletically, I don't know if I'd want to match up against the best version of KD and Russ defensively. And I think defensively, where OKC really separates themselves, if we are being honest. And again, Jalen Williams and Shea are great defenders, but having Caruso and Dort as well too is, what allows you to become a great defensive team as well. But they are going to give that edge to SGA and Jalen Williams. Hey, yo. And KD was, I guess, a better defender a little later in his career, but again, it's still, the same guy. So I guess it's like, is he going to channel some of the later, pause energy? Or I guess is he going to play, somehow his effort level is capped to what it was back then. It's like, nope, that's as hard as you tried back then. So that's as good as you're going to play now. But fit and chemistry, pause. Oh, chat. Some clunky possessions. Hey, yo, I guess, again, KD and Russ, there's the fact that they broke up as teammates. And SGA and Jalen Williams haven't done that yet, but they both just got paid their massive deals, and they may have to wait a season or two for that to happen, for the, those contracts to play out, and just for, the chemistry to fall apart. But either way, the verdict does finally go to, wait a second, one game to 21 pickup style, KD and Russ win. 7-game series NBA style, SGA and J-Dub win. Why? In short, Russ's chaos and KD's unstoppable scoring is too much. Overtime, not in overtime, but over the course of time, SGA and J-Dub's efficiency, defense, and decision making. Hey, yo, I'm so stunned I can't even read. That's the reason we can't read, right? Just because we're shocked. But KD, the ceiling, KD and Russ winning basketball, SGA and J-Dub. And I guess in theory, not even in theory, unfortunately we can't necessarily go back and redo the KD Russ era. I guess we don't necessarily want to give them a title as well, too, at the sake of the Spurs. And I guess they could still technically win a title together. They're both playing in the league, and they could end up on the same team, and that team could win a title. So it's not out of the question yet, but for them to be at their peak of the powers leading the team, both of them are a little bit past that. Unfortunately, maybe Russ a little bit more than KD. But I don't know. I think peak Russ is taking out peak J-Dub, even though maybe J-Dub a little bit bigger at forward. He is a little bit bigger. 6'5", 211. I don't know. Russ, though, has the strength. Let's see what we have here. Russ might be a sneaky 6'5" himself. Is Russ 6'3" or 6'5"? Hey, yo. Now, in the sake of being biased, we've given him 2 inches. Whoa! Hey, yo. Pause. He's 6'4". So yeah, 6'4", 200. He's fine, Chad. He's fine. 6'4", 200, the heart of a lion. He's good to go. He is good to go. I mean, I feel like, we don't need a sim in this case. We have our answer. But I guess just in theory, do we want Kawhi slash LaMarcus or Wemby slash Castle? Maybe a little newer, the Wemby Castle run. We'll see if they're able to log this correctly. And I feel like, again, the definite career success of LaMarcus Aldridge and Kawhi at this point over Wemby and Castle, it's so new for Wemby and Castle that they haven't even done anything. They literally haven't even been in a playoff game yet, that you might have to pick Kawhi and LaMarcus. But again, they didn't get along, so that is always just going to be a factor as well too. There's no chance they ever succeed. I don't know about that, but Kawhi, two-way monster, Finals MVP, automatic from 18 feet, post killer, underrated. Oh, LaMarcus, post killer, underrated rim protector, play style, methodical, half court, no mistakes. You're getting a vibe is, quote, you're getting a very Oh, I thought it said 2-point drip. Hey, yo, pause. You're getting 2 points every trip. Sorry. So it's one of those things. It's not 3 points, but they're never missing. So it's just always 2. It's always 2. It's always 2. You know that you can either match them for 2 or gamble the 3. But I guess they're always getting the 2. So Wemby, alien rim protection, evolving offensive bag, Castle, big guard, defensive dog, downhill creator, length, disruption, versatility. This looks unfair, but still kind of raw. Very, very fair, very, very fair. Half-court offense. Oh, LMA is going to get this one. And they highlighted it as clear? Hey, yo. ChatGPT says, settle your biased little butt down, I guess. It is what it is. Defense, Wemby stands alone. Change the geometry of the game. Though, again, I guess we can defend Spurs Kawhi. Pre-decision Kawhi, hey, yo, we'll defend him, chat. We'll be like, hey, look at how good he was back then. But, again, you can't underrate, legitimately how game-changing Kawhi's perimeter defense was. I think it is now and has been over the last, half decade here. It has been elite at best. I'm not even saying that disparagingly. But for what it was legitimately the best of all. He was legitimately in the argument for best perimeter defender of all time. So even to go to best perimeter defender in the league means that now there are guys currently playing that are in his tier, and they can be great all time as well too to some degree. But again, I remember listening to Bill Simmons at the time talking about saying that for him, it was like him and Scottie Pippen were the two best perimeter defenders he's ever seen, just the eye test of it. And I think his hardware pause. Whoa, hey, yo. We're talking about the trophies. We're not making assumptions about Kawhi or Scottie Pippen either way. Hey, yo. But I think Kawhi's trophy collection's a little, his individual awards a little bit more than Scottie Pippen's. And, again, what he was able to do offensively because that is the thing. It's not necessarily like that Raptors team was an offensive thing. That is, the crazy thing about Kawhi's career as well, too, is he won an offensive title at some point. But he was legitimately changing the game defensively as a perimeter defender. Again, as a bias, the fact that he has wounded our hearts and now Wemby has healed us so perfectly, the fact that Wemby is, I guess, in that case, a better defender because he's the healer of the Spurs fan base. But it is, in my journalistic integrity, and also, I guess, maybe the child inside, I don't know, pause, but maybe the journalistic integrity of it is the still wanting to say that Kawhi defense from the perimeter is pretty close. It is pretty close. And again, I don't know if Wemby's, as Wemby even continues to get better defensively. And it's a different thing where, Kawhi would, it's not like a guy would never not drive the way that the Kawhi was like guarding per se. Like, oh, Kawhi's on that side, like I can't drive because he's gonna dig down and steal the ball. Like, I don't think it ever quite got to that conscious level of the players on the court. Again, where like Wemby is consciously affecting where players go. So that is, again, the geometry of the game that matters. But it's not like if Kawhi was there, he would let you get past him, and he would like literally create turnovers I think that is the thing that Wemby changes the geometry a little bit more and blocks our turnovers as well too. But I think the degree to which Kawhi created turnovers was maybe, do I say more impressive than Wemby? Because the blocks thing, it is a little Manute Bol-ish, with all due respect to, the great rest in peace, Manute Bol, it is the tall guy factor, the Sean Bradley, the Mark Eaton, where it's like, if you're a tall guy, you should probably be blocking a certain amount of shots. Again, Wemby has elevated that to the next level. But, Kawhi shouldn't necessarily have the greatest stealing, in the basketball ways, the greatest stealing hands of all time. He shouldn't be the greatest perimeter guy at locking down a guy and just completely literally just taking the basketball from you. Like, that's the thing. Nobody's been able to just take the basketball away from a dribbler, the way that Kawhi has been able to. So the fact that I could almost count on it, you can't say count on him, but the fact that if we were talking about that version of Kawhi going up against a player, just any player one-on-one, like the fact that it's a very real possibility that he could like legitimately not just stop them, but legitimately take the basketball from them does, again, that's just something that, that is equal to blocking a shot. I think he's as effective to that. I didn't expect to be, see, this is what I mean, Chad. We're healing. We're healing as basketball fans. I honestly didn't expect it. There are wounds that we have as basketball fans that I guess I know now that, now that at least, maybe it's not like a full heal, but the scarring, like I'm like, maybe I looked at it, I'm like, what? I haven't noticed that scar for a while. You know what? Like, it's settled into a nice place. It's kind of noticeable. Like, get a nice long, like a little t-shirt, cover it up every now and then. Like, who knows? But, it's one of those things where it's like, pause, but it does feel better than it did in the past. Okay. Now that I've said the pause version of it, the grammar is clear now. I can look back with fond memories at the time. And that was the struggling part of that Spurs era, is like, legitimately those Kawhi years were just like, I don't even think about those Kawhi years. I was like, they're just blocked out from the Spurs memory. And again, it's great team. LaMarcus Aldridge. It's like, I do remember Manu and Jonathan Simmons occasionally. I do think about Jonathan Simmons every now and then. Like, what happened to that guy? Yeah, he was pretty good at basketball. But, outside of that, those Spurs, DeJounte Murray was great as well, too. He was obviously, one of those next up type guys and, like, has, been a great player in the NBA. You can't say that as the 30th pick in the draft, that was not a great pick as well, too. Derek White. I mean, the Spurs were nailing picks back then as well, too. It's just obviously the Kawhi injury kind of blew apart what that team could ultimately be. I mean, that would have been interesting. Obviously. Kawhi, DeJounte, Derek White. I don't know if they all did overlap in the way that I'm thinking as well, too. Because, Derek White did eventually get traded. But for those three guys, in theory, just being on the same team together with LaMarcus Aldridge, like that's a really good team. And again, obviously with Derek White having proof of concept of being kind of a third guy, like that, I think could have, if Derek White develops in San Antonio what he becomes in Boston, again, it's a couple years down the road as well, too. And I think we ended up trading him for Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley or one of those guys. So I don't think it ended up becoming, like a Harper Castle situation. I think that just ended up being that was DeJounte Murray trade maybe, and just our own pick and good fortune in the lottery. But for for that team. I mean, if Derek White develops into what he develops into in Boston, then you do have a legitimate third guy there. And I think him as a third guy, almost in like a Con Knuppel type of way, and maybe Con Knuppel almost in a Derek White type of way, but the way that it's like, okay, if he is your second or third guy, it elevates what LaMelo can be as your number one, having that type of connector. Because LaMelo is better as a number one lead playmaker, I think, with Knuppel as a number two versus having a different type of post up type of guy. Who do we just disparage as a player, I guess, and throw in there? I don't know, but again, I think that him as that connector could have elevated like LaMarcus Aldridge as the number two to help power that team as a title. You have DeJounte Murray as your number four at that point, and then Jonathan Simmons as your number five. That's a title team right there. That is a title team. I almost want to give myself a ChatGPT title right now and type it in, but hey, I guess we don't even have an answer to our question yet. Castle adds, what is he at? Point of attack defense? That is true, but again, definitely not to the degree of Kawhi, but regardless, we love Castle's defense as well too. Kawhi is elite, but LMA can be targeted in space, so the Wemby Castle duo, I guess the combined points, LMA brings it down. Pause. It is what it is. Shot making, that's going to go to Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge is a pick and pop automatic. Yeah, both of them. Or, knocking down buckets. Again, 2 points every time. Fit and reliability. So LaMarcus Aldridge and Kawhi, apparently the relationship drama does not go noticed on the ChatGPT, or I remember it incorrectly as a young fan as well too. But ceiling factor, Wemby is the ultimate cheat code. If he fully imposes himself, Castle could swing the games with defense plus transition. I guess a full court 2-on-2, or both of these guys again in a 5-on-5 situation. But pickup game to 11, Kawhi and LMA win, 2 polished, 2 automatic from the mid-range. Wemby doesn't get time to take over. 7-game series. Oh! Kawhi and LMA still win for now. Experience shot making over potential. They exploit Castle offensively and pull Wemby into tough decisions. I mean, Wemby don't have tough decisions because he can guard. He can guard everywhere. He doesn't have to make up his mind. He's 7.5 feet tall. But right now, Kawhi and LaMarcus, according to the analytics. But Wemby and Castle for now. Chat. So do we do the 10-year, which teams are better off 10 years from now? It's a fun game. It's a fun game if you're San Antonio and OKC. Do we go to Washington? Because I think, where does this put us in the John Wall, Bradley Beal timeline? Would you rather have John Wall and Bradley Beal or Anthony Davis and Trae Young? I guess, are we talking about the best versions of those guys, or are we talking about the versions of those guys that we're getting in the 10-year timelines here? Because if that is the case, I do think you easily take John Wall and Bradley Beal. Yeah, this would have been the peak of their powers. 15, 16, 77 games played. I guess 19 points a game. The next year, he is 7th in MVP voting. I guess no All-NBA for John Wall in 15, 16 as well, apparently. But I imagine, a young, unpaid, trying Bradley Beal would have been, a good point to pick up in his career and, have him playing. 45% from the field, 38% from the three, not bad, 17. So it is, I guess that season before they really took off. And I forgot about Otto Porter Jr. as the number 3 as well too, but looking back, for what he was at Georgetown and then was he top 5 or top 10 drafted? He may have been the 5th pick in the draft, honestly, though I want to say third pick in that draft. Yeah, he was supposed to be, I guess supposed, but what am I saying here? He had the profile of a little bit more of a number 1 scorer than, what his numbers ended up playing out as. And he always had the profile of, he can hit threes, but, if you needed him to create a little bit, can create a little bit. And just didn't quite, get the overall consistency that you needed there. But that core, would you rather have Wall and Beal or Sarr and Keyshawn George? I guess because Sean George has become a legit guy there in terms of you can have him on a roster. I think in building a good team, but I don't know if he would be the guy that you would want. Respectfully, I don't know if he'd be like the prime number 2 on a building block team there going forward. So who knows? Maybe we'll add this game to the list as the Sunday live stream extravaganza continues to become a real must-see TV event. You guys are going to want to tune into that. But Denver, a 33-49 Denver yet? Did they even have Jokic? Did they have a young Jokic on this team? A rookie Jokic. So he wouldn't have been included on the core at this point. They didn't know that they had him. So he's the 8th man on this team. I guess 21 a game is honestly more than I thought. I thought he would have been like 6 a game that rookie year. But Gallinari, Gary Harris, you would have had, imagine the best offensive player in the history of the league in terms of the advanced stats is on the team at this time. And as a basketball community, we thought Gary Harris and Emmanuel Mudiay were going to save the day. And not only did we think we were going to save the day, Mudiay explicitly struggles offensively. Explicitly a defensive player, but a playmaker offense. I guess, kind of a passer as well, too. So they did like a well-rounded offensive player. They wasn't like a score-first thing all the time. Was something that they were looking for. And, hey, they got Jokic out of it. It is what it is. They did have Nurkic there as well, too. And J.J. Hickson, the best center room of all time. Jokic, Nurkic, and Hickson. And Kenneth Faried, the Manimal. I guess you would have had Will Barton, 6th man of the year. And, yeah, Mudiay, a rookie that year. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're obviously way better off. If you're Denver, you're a title at this point. You have Jamal. You don't even have Jamal Murray. I think Jamal Murray is a rookie next year, right? 16-17 is his rookie season. So they go 40-42. Yep, they add Jamal Murray. Jokic is now up to 27 a game. Jamal Murray, 21 a game. A lot of guys still playing. Juancho Hernan-Gomez. Hey, yo. Mike Miller getting 7 minutes a game in 20 games. Malik Beasley. This team goes 15 deep. Pause. Hey, yo. Roy Hibbert's the 19th man. Jarnell Stokes. Does anybody remember Jarnell Stokes, chat? Hey, yo. I mean, now we're just naming guys. It is what it is. Tennessee? Yes, sir. Shout out to Jarnell Stokes. 35th pick of the draft. Too low. Was he maybe like an Elite 8 run or something in there? I don't know. I remember having a little Jarnell Stokes stock back in the day. Pause. But Mason Plumlee, the 8th man. So, yeah, Gary Harris kind of Gallinari there as well, too. You say Gallinari and Gary Harris or Jokic and Murray? Probably Jokic and Murray if we're going the better off course. But, again, the better off – who's the worst record but better off course? San Antonio, the only team 10 years ago – with a worse record, but better off. The Warriors 73-9. You cannot even make a funny case there that they have a worse record and better off. They're just worse off. It is what it is. The Cavs, they had LeBron, so I guess you could say, did they have LeBron like for 10 years at that point? Do they have is Donovan Mitchell the face of the franchise now in a way that LeBron never was? Hey yo. I guess the first tenure, before he left the first time, but for the better off rankings. If you have LeBron and Kyrie, you're better off. I guess, did they still have Kyrie? Oh, yeah, 15-16. They win the title this year. Hey, yeah, they definitely have Kyrie. But, and Kevin Love, you're probably a little bit better off. LeBron definitely carrying there. That is for sure. Would you rather have R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Emmanuel Quickley, and Jakob Poeltl, and Colin Murphy-Boyles? Or, that's not fair at this point, but would you rather have R.J. Barrett and Scotty Barnes or DeRozan and Kyle Lowry? I think you would take DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Shout out. Who is Miami 15-16? Is this Butler? Who's even on this team at this point? Oh, this is the Josh Richardson team. Hey, yo. Chris Bosh still hanging out. Goran Dragic. Joe Johnson, 24 games played for our guy Joe Johnson. Dwayne Wade, 73 games as well, too. Maybe his last kind of productive season on the Heat before he ends up on the Cavs soon as well. would have been the rookie core piece, I guess, that they're working with. 6 in rookie of the year voting. Who would, the famous Danny Ainge almost traded all the picks for Justice Winslow's story. So you would have had, I guess, would you rather have Justice Winslow and Tyler Johnson was kind of like a fun piece for, a couple of games there as well. Oh, Jarnell Stokes is back. Shout out. But I guess Goran Dragic, maybe? Yeah, they didn't have much of a core outside of Winslow at that point. They were still kind of, on the come down from that Heatles run. Bringing in, shout out, but you're bringing in 34-year-old Johnson. You're definitely not, going for tanking picks at that point. The Jazz, the 15-16 Jazz versus the Lowry Markkanen, Jaren Jackson, Keontae George Jazz. Trevor Booker, Alec Burks, Rudy Gobert, Derek Favors. Rudy Gobert and Derek Favors. Gordon Hayward, I guess, pre-injury, obviously, pre-going to Boston. There, he would have been not quite an all-star yet, but 19 points a game, 43, 35. Very, very productive player. I guess, it was more like, hey, can he find himself a guy who can maybe take a little bit more of the scoring responsibility, get some defensive help there as well, too. But, this Jazz core is kind of looking pretty sneaky. Markkanen and Keontae George is kind of fun. Markkanen and Keontae George versus Gordon Hayward and Gobert. Not the most riveting 2-on-2, but it is an interesting basketball conversation. It will exercise your mind. It will make you think about what you want there. Pause. Ooh, do we leave this full circle, Chad? The 48-win Charlotte Hornets. Who would have guessed Charlotte 10 years ago won 48 games? Who would have guessed 10 years ago Charlotte won as many games as they did this year? We're talking about Charlotte bringing the franchise back. They're just, back to standard, Chad. Back to the 48-win standard that Michael Jordan had set there as the owner of the team. So, shout out Batum. Hey, Al Jefferson, year 11, Al Jefferson. Wait a second. Who's there? Frank Kaminsky was their treasured first-round pick. They had P.J. Hairston, I guess, from the previous draft. Oh, Cody Zeller as well, too. This is peak MJ, chat, just drafting, white forwards from the Big Ten. It is what it is. MJ, I mean, I was about to ask, why was he falling in love with these guys? But I don't know. Maybe just a little research on the career there. So Kemba Walker and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist versus LaMelo and Knuppel and Brandon Miller. I do think that, again, the wins might be the same. They do have some veterans that maybe help them in the regular season in that case, but their core is better. Yes, if we were taking teams and building cores around them, like, Kemba Walker, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, I guess only 7 games for Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but Kemba Walker and Marvin Williams, it is, again, bleak without Kemba Walker. So the fact that it's not bleak, but it's even thriving at this point is fun. I don't know how they won 48 games. Again, obviously Kemba Walker. Maybe Kemba Walker should have won MVP this year. It is what it is. Washington, Chicago, Detroit. The Cade Cunningham led number 1 seed. Jalen Duren led number 1 seed Detroit. Is this Blake? Was he on the team? No, Blake. KCP? KCP led a team in scoring. What did this guy not do, Chad? KCP, just put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know if we need to go through NBA history. Like, who are the most random guys to lead a team in scoring? But KCP at 14, and he won 2 titles on 2 different teams. Do we say a mini Ori? What do we mean by that? We're just talking about Robert Horry. We call it. Oh, Chad, I almost got us canceled. We gotta go. I'm about to start calling KCP a little or over here. It is what it is. We just call him, a miniature version of the role player that Robert Horry was. It is what it is. We tread lightly. Sometimes we just work out a nickname live on the air, and we're just like, hey, you know what? That might not be the one to choose long term. It is what it is. So let's see what we got here for Robert Horry. I guess, did he ever lead a team in scoring as well as I see? But 12 a game would have been his highest total anyways. And yeah, he would have, I guess, played on good teams, which is why he was winning titles. So if he ever did lead a team in scoring, that would have been concerning. But regardless, 14 a game, I guess, is not nothing. If it was college, if it was March Madness, this team would have been okay. And again, somehow a 44 win team was led by KCP. Like, that's incredible. KCP as the best player on a team won 44 games. So, is there a lesson in that with some of these? Again, maybe this all goes back to we want to see Zach LaVine on a good roster. You can win 40 games. He can put up some decent numbers. I feel like maybe he could be the third guy on a team. I guess KCP is pretty good defensively. And Marcus Morris, good pro. Like Tobias Harris, good pro. Andre Drummond, I guess, is kind of the secret weapon that we're not thinking about here. Yeah, Andre Drummond, third team All-NBA. So KCP and Andre Drummond as the core. I mean, what a step up, chat. What a step up. As good as DeAndre Drummond was, and as, I guess we're giving credit to, the defensive talents of Kawhi earlier. Like, 14 rebounds a game here. Like nobody rebounds like Andre Drummond these days, chat. Literally, it is just Jokic. And I think that in terms of how much a guy wanted a rebound, like Drummond does want the rebounds more than Jokic. I feel like Jokic just benefits a little bit from, guys not rebounding today. I mean, Drummond was 5 offensive rebounds a game here per game, 16 and 15 in 2015-16. This is like a legit season for DeAndre Drummond here. You do have to give him credit. Reggie Jackson at 18 a game. I guess it's minutes. I guess KCP led him in minutes per game, not points per game. There we go. So even more random. Reggie Jackson led this team in points per game, but they did kind of pay him to do this though, right? Like, he was the backup to Russ. He was supposed to get his own team as the lead guard. Again, do you say he was supposed to, lead his own team, be third team All-NBA when he went to Detroit, but he was supposed to at least, take over lead guard responsibilities. And if that meant being the number one scorer at times, then sure, why not? But, obviously, and I think he did do that for a little bit. They had some playoff success there in the East, but that, again, just shows you where we're at in the modern NBA. That I would take this Hornets team over this Pistons team so easily. And I guess they are going to be a handful of wins better by the time we get to the end of the season, though, are they? I guess they're at 43 right now. So who knows? You do have to be able to win games in the fourth quarter. Maybe LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller would just completely fall apart against Reggie Jackson and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Marcus Morris is not afraid. Marcus Morris and Andre Drummond would sneakily have a good fourth quarter case against this team. So, Charlotte is potentially going to finish with 44 wins. So they could finish with the same amount as this Pistons team. But I'm taking LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Knuppel and Diabate over Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Drummond, KCP, and Marcus Morris. Again, as a long-term project. I guess Stanley Johnson as well, too, was a rookie, kind of a fun rookie. So Stanley Johnson and Andre Drummond versus Cade and Jalen Duren is obviously not a question because they're the 1 seed at this point. But that just shows you, like I'm saying, where we're at, because but the 8 seed now is, so much more talented than the 8 seed then. Shout out to the 8 seed then. The 8 seed then is great. Reggie Jackson, again, Andre Drummond, Marcus Morris, these guys are great. But I do think in a 8-game series, I'm looking at the 8 seed, in a 7-game series that the modern team would win. Though you could make that case in any factor. I think it would apply here, though. Who knows? One more thing to add to the schedule for Sunday. We can do a 10-year check as to be like, would the, like we were saying with the who's in the better place, but would the 8 seed this year, because I think that, we may be lucky or find a year where wins-wise it kind of shakes out similarly, but there is some equal wins balance for some of the teams across the league here. So, again, it maybe is a good time to compare what they would look like against the league at the given time, because it could be a similar, landscape to look at, if that makes sense. But we'll work it out Sunday. We'll see if we can get a little duct tape for the microphone here, Cable, because it is, I'm telling you, it's grinding your boy's gears. I'm not going to lie. It really can get under a man's skin it is what it is. I mean, see, now we're getting irritated by nothing, chat. We are growing up. It is what it is. So we have to hit our bedtime, another adult thing. It is what it is. You can be back. The Sunday live stream, last day of the NBA regular season. We will be here. Spurs Nuggets. Hopefully people are playing. Hopefully Wemby wins the MVP. I guess it won't be announced Sunday, but we'll be here discussing it all. You can follow us on the YouTube. You can follow us on the podcast feeds. You can follow us, of course, on the message us on the Instagram as well, too, if you want to connect with us over there. We'll see y'all Sunday. Stay tuned for, knowing when to jump. I guess, we're jumping on for Spurs Nuggets, so jump on Sunday night. We'll see y'all then. Later. Peace.